James Bond. Before we can start, Brian, you are loving that beer.
This beer is amazing. I went to Newgrass Brewing.
What the fuck is that?
It is in, Shelby, North Carolina?
Ooh, that's right. About 45 up north?
Yeah. It took about 50 minutes to get there. They make sours primarily, but they, like every single one of their beers contains like Madagascan cocoa nibs or something like that.
Cocoa nibs!
Cocoa nibs. Give me the nibs.
Give me the nibs.
And this one is the banana bandana, which I did not drink when I was there, but I was like, well, that's probably going to just come home with me and I'll take care of that later. And that was the first sip I've had of it. And it was, it's quite a thing.
Quite a thing.
Quite a beautiful thing.
And that's how you started James Bond draft. What up?
Did you taste the unicorn horseshoes that are in there as well?
Yeah.
Only the finest of unicorns.
Is that a fucking Lucky Charms joke? I'm like, the minute you said it, the images of the marshmallows, like horseshoes and. Did he just make a Lucky Charms joke? That's awesome.
Save that for the cereal draft. All right.
Oh, can we?
Yeah, can we?
Can we do the cereal?
I got Honey Graham O's. That's my draft right
That's
there.
why you continue to lose these drafts.
Here you go. Let me
My first round pick is grape nuts.
No, that motherfucker's losing.
Okay.
That one's losing.
We're here for the James Bond draft.
Who?
In honor of Daniel Craig's final James Bond film, No Time to Die. Hitting theaters here shortly, man. We thought there's going to need to be a new James Bond coming out, which means new Bond girls, new villains, new all of that. And we as studio execs, we will figure out what that makeup, what that composition is going to look like. I have some of the usual suspects with me. To my right, I have Mr. Brian Martin. How you doing today, sir?
Doing well. I think the fact that we're waiting for the Daniel Craig's final turn as James Bond, it feels kind of like when your family member's about to pass away and then they like pass the date when they were supposed to pass and they're just kind of still there and you're like, well, you kind of said your goodbyes and you're like,
I guess I gotta go back to the nursing home one more time.
So I mean, I'm like very, very ready for Daniel Craig to hang it up at this point because it's just like, give me the movie, man. Just shoot it straight into my brain.
All right, then. That being said, no one can better shoot it into your brain than James Bond. Right across the table.
I thought you were going to say Pete Lentz.
I thought he was. I was ready.
I thought he was teeing you up. Yeah.
And you know what? Damn, fuck that one up. Right across the table from me, we have Mr. Pete Lentz, draft veteran. How you doing?
What is up? Hello, everyone. Hello, Poprikans.
Are you ready to get draft on today, sir?
Oh yes.
So the thing about it is, Pete blatantly came out in our chat and said that he's going to be a pander mofo today, which it's been interesting to watch over the 2 years we've been doing these, the fall of Pete Lentz.
Yeah.
From I'm just here to have fun and talk about movies and talk about what I want to talk about, and now he's just like, fuck these motherfuckers.
I say it every time, man. Fucking Poprikans. Y'all don't know.
Yeah.
I talk about shit y'all don't know, but that don't get me votes. So
Exactly. You're going to play the game today?
Oh yeah. I'm rolling the dice. I'm very out of my comfort zone with this list, but I feel super strongly.
You
about
can't bring Timothy Dalton back as Bond, sir. I would not advise that you draft Tim Dalton as Bond.
Let me just go ahead and delete that.
The Lazenby's still around.
Gonna de-age Sean Connery's corpse.
I was going to make a direct sequel to License to Kill, motherfucker.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we get there, sir. And to my left, we have a newcomer here, Poprika, Mr. Razul Walls. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing just fine, and I don't know how I go behind the wonderful Pete here.
Shit.
Who apparently doesn't know how to pick things that are current. So,
I got it this time though. I'm all current this time, man. I got it.
All right, then.
I'm feeling good about it.
So this is your first
Cannot
draft,
wait to see what you think current is.
This is your first draft,
1996.
I think he has a DeLorean parked in his
Yeah, damn right I
latest
do.
vehicle.
How are you feeling about this, man?
I'm feeling good. I feel like a rookie, but I feel like Kobe. I'm not like, the
Oh.
random,
Coming strong.
27th pick or something like that.
All right. You feel like you got
I'm
a good
ready.
chance? All right. Then. Coming in with confidence.
I'm
I
feeling
like
the
to hear
cocksure right now. That's
that.
what
Yeah, I like his cocksure tone. I
like his cocksure tone.
I like it.
That's it.
I like his cocksure tone.
Somebody came ready to draft some characters from Star Wars Rebels.
All right. Before we get into this, man, we got to talk a little bit about Bond, man. We got to celebrate the 4 or 5, something like that, films that are in the Bond franchise. So let's go.
Fewer than the MCU in total at this point.
yeah, right. Bond's been around for 60 damn near years. MCU,
Almost as
11,
many
12.
as the Fast and the Furious.
Right. Catching up
feels
quick.
like. Brian, let's start with you, sir. Who is your Bond?
Oh, Connery.
Connery is your Bond? Really?
No hesitation there.
Why
Connery
Connery?
is just the James Bond. Like I like the first image of Bond in my head is Connery. And I think I don't necessarily think every performer that's come since has been chasing Connery, because I think they've all had kind of their own unique spin. It's kind of like Doctor Who, right? Like
all right.
there are just different iterations of Bond, but to just come in and so like just sublimely capture this sort of confident, just swagger. It's like that's something that they try to capture again, and Moore doesn't have it. Lazenby, God love him, didn't have it. I love that movie. Lazenby didn't quite have it.
All right.
Even like, I would say Brosnan probably comes closest.
Yeah.
But his movies are just so goddamn goofy that I'm like,
All right. What is your favorite Bond film, man? You got 20 some odd to choose from.
Yeah.
You have a letterbox list for that shit?
I might. No, I think, man, if somebody says, I've never seen a Bond film before, what should I watch? It's probably Goldfinger.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah,
always
that's-
go back to that because I would say like contemporary Skyfall is really, really hard to beat. But at the end of the day, when Skyfall came out, we had kind of seen Skyfall 2 or 3 times in the last 5 years. Dark Knight was essentially Skyfall, So I have to go Goldfinger on that.
All right. I think that is the first one that brings all the elements together. That gives you your gadgets, your car.
Bold choice over Thunderball.
The movie whose theme song almost killed Tom Jones.
Yeah. All right.
You can hear him almost die on the final note of Thunderball. It's like you can just picture the veins bulging out of his head. He looks like a character from Akira.
Tetsuo!
Pete, let's go to you, sir. Who is your Bond, man?
Brosnan.
Brosnan. Okay.
Yep.
So you got a couple of years on this, but coming up, was Dalton the one that you kind of came up with?
No. I came up when I first started watching Bond movies. The guy that my mom and I were living with, her boyfriend at the time, was a huge Bond fanatic, and I had seen which one was it? View to a Kill on HBO.
All right. Right on.
And,
They did play that all the time.
Oh, it was like all the time, dude. It was like that and Dark Crystal were always on back to
You're
back back in the day.
Right on.
God,
Shout out to
that is
HBO.
probably the first Bond movie I saw.
So
It took me a couple years to get into it, but
So I was into View to a Kill, and then I found out there were more Bond films. Well, the guy, my mom's boyfriend was like, yeah, there's a ton of Bond
he's
films.
like, this isn't even the good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And so then,
to a kill, yes.
and then he kind of went, I had seen Goldfinger, and it was like, well, this is like a totally different Bond guy, but it's still, okay. That was my first like same character, different actor kind of thing, And so, and then he kept bringing stuff home. He'd bring home Dr. No and Thunderball, and it just kind of snowballed out of control. We watched everything that was current to that point. I mean, at the time, I was a kid into Star Wars, so Moonraker was fucking everything, right?
They were banking on you, buddy.
Now Moonraker's fucking stupid. Okay, that is a fucking stupid Bond film, but it's fun. There's not many Bond movies that you can say are fun, and Moonraker is fun.
I was looking through the location list from Bond movies to try to find a unique location, because I just wanted to double check and make sure the one I picked had not been
Shit,
used
I didn't
previously.
think to do that.
I didn't think to do that either,
You're
actually.
scrolling down that list, just glancing at it, and all of a sudden one entry is outer space, and I'm like, fucking Moonraker.
Yeah, Moonraker.
Right on.
But so when I was already a Bond fan by the time they announced that Pierce Brosnan was going to be the next Bond. And my mom was a huge fan of Remington Steele. Like, she fucking watched that show all the time. And so, I'd sit there and watch it too, and I'm like, man, this guy's cool. Like, I thought Brosnan was cool.
Brosnan is the smoothest white man.
Yeah, and I remember
we have,
going,
besides John B.
I remember going, he'd make a great James Bond. Like, if they ever had to recast him, he'd make a great one. And then they did, and then they picked him, and it was like, and then I saw GoldenEye, and my head just exploded. Like, I fucking love GoldenEye. So your next question, which one's my favorite? Fucking GoldenEye, dude.
All right, right on.
I love that movie. I love its pacing. I love the way it's shot. I love the cinematography, the colors in that. They properly balance like drab and vibrant in a lot of the different.
Yeah, it's got that post-Cold War kind of vibe. What do you think of Eric Serra's weird-ass score for that movie?
That score does not work for that. That techno digital.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's not good. Not great. Not
That
great,
does
Bob.
take it away. Now I will say the following movie, Tomorrow Never Dies, which I thought was stupid, actually has one of my favorite soundtracks because the Propellerheads did some of that stuff.
Yeah, that was good.
Like David Arnold fucking went buck wild on that movie, man. Like,
Yes.
he was like, I'm gonna do all the orchestration, and then here's a Propellerheads track for the car chase. Like, fuck yeah, dude. That soundtrack is like, even though I don't like that movie, that's the one Bond soundtrack I actually went out and bought.
That's the same here. That's the only one of the Brosnan films that I actually own.
What? Oh, I was GoldenEye. That was a quick.
Eric Serra's score is weird as shit.
It's just weird. Yeah,
is.
it fits Fifth Element, not so much GoldenEye. Like,
Correct.
So that's my
Rasul,
picks.
Mr. Walls, man. Who is your dude, man?
Listen, so, you guys talk all that mess about Mr. Roger Moore.
I need a little Roger less.
No. I ain't sleeping on Roger Moore, dude. I'm a fan.
I mean, Roger Moore. So, as a 6-year-old, when View to a Kill, you already talked about it, came out in 1985, and I'm like, oh my God, this dude is amazing. Like, how does he do all the things that he does
Stunt doubles. That's how.
in the way that he does it? And I'm like, I didn't realize old dudes could be so smooth, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he had on a cool blazer and, the best gadgets. And so I'm like, all right, great. And then they had, of course, the wonderful Miss Grace Jones.
Oh, yes.
That's a good
Is just such a wonderful, character to play. And so, that was my
Intense. Just the intensity on her face all the time.
And you felt like whatever it was that she was telling you that she was going to do, you could visually see her doing that to you, good or bad.
Yeah.
So you knew that something bad was going to go down if she was in the film. So I'm looking at her and I'm like, all right, this guy's amazing. I can't believe that there's actually more Bond films out there. So Roger Moore's my guy. My favorite film actually came from him, and it actually is because of every single young dude's wet dream, which is the fact that the name of the movie was so intense.
Octopussy.
Octopussy. I mean, come on. Octopussy?
Yeah.
And it allowed me to say that word around my mother in a way where I didn't get smacked in the face.
Right.
So I used to watch it all the time.
Hell yeah, dude.
So it worked out. It worked out.
Octopussy was another one they used to play on HBO all the time. That was they fucking played Octopussy too.
Right on.
You got don't sleep on that. You got Walken in View to a
View
Kill.
Yeah.
Like that's
Max
your
Shrek.
Yeah.
Max Shrek.
Max Shrek. So we got a Connery, man. We got ourselves a Brosnan. We got ourselves a Roger Moore, man. Not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. I get down with it.
Nobody
yourself?
picked Dalton. So yeah. What about you?
Oh yeah, Craig. Craig is my dude.
Yeah.
Craig
Yeah?
is my dude. Yeah, for a number of reasons. The fact that he made the entire public do a whole ass 180 on him, and he was cast. It was the Heath Ledger joint and the Affleck as Batman. People are like,
It's just what happens in the internet age. Whoever gets cast after him is going to get the same goddamn blowback. It doesn't matter who it is.
Because when I cast my guy, they're gonna be like, yeah, that makes sense. And then he came in, and it was just something different about this cat. Like,
Could have been the fact that he could take his shirt off and actually walk around with it off.
that might have something to do with it.
That guy's not frumpy.
Yeah, he's not from. Yeah, if I got a secret agent who's out there fucking breaking skulls, I want him to look like a dude who can break some
It's
skulls.
like, this is Grandpa?
Well, I don't know. Connery had that Dr. No,
Oh, I mean, he had the body and
I mean, he could do the
Yeah,
thing.
he
Well,
wasn't
they
Mr.
weren't
Universe.
casting back then. They weren't casting with the idea of a franchise. They were
Right.
like, let's just get this guy in for one movie. He's just old enough. We can get one good movie out of that chiseled physique, and then of course it's all downhill.
all cookie dough body
Shit.
from
Can
there.
we get him back for that 1985 joint? The Never Say Never, Never Say Never again.
Oh, you mean the
Casey in
Thunderball
here.
remake?
Yeah.
Right. Did you notice though that he from that one movie he was all chiseled and everything? Next thing you know, the next 5 movies he was like covered in chest hair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Old carpet Connor. My favorite movie.
Carpet Connery.
Favorite movie I share with my favorite director, Chris Nolan. We both had the same favorite Bond movie, On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah, that's fine movie. God, love it.
Yeah. It was the one I was like, wait, there's a dude who did James Bond once, and that's it.
He did.
This movie's gonna be fucking whack. And then I watched it, and I was like, I mean, yeah, it was all right. And then like I watched it 5-10 years later, and I was like, yo, this movie is amazing.
Yeah,
and there's so much shit that goes down. You got your classic Blofeld. I think Telly Savalas is the best Blofeld. George Lazenby does a great job as Bond. I don't care what anybody says. Dame Diana Rigg is one of the best Bond girls of all time.
Put her in anything. Put her in my hero draft list. It wasn't enough for you fuckers.
Well, Emma Peel. That's right.
Yeah, I had Emma Peel as my spy.
That's right.
Sorry, sir. Remember that age range for Poprikans is 20s to 30s.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Not 40s to 50s.
You know what I mean? This is what I'm fucking dealing with right now. This is what I'm dealing with.
So you're talking about the Tomorrow Never Dies being like the one soundtrack from that era you bought. When I was old enough to really take an interest in my parents' like record collection, like I started thumbing through that. The only Bond soundtrack they owned, On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Boom, boom, boom.
Great. I got that all the time in the world.
Yeah, was that Lou Rawls?
Satchmo, man.
Yeah.
Freaking Satchmo.
Yeah, man. Just for love. As the Bond movies, they've always tried to stay contemporary. So each Bond movie, or to the time frame that it's made. So each Bond movie is kind of like a snapshot of the world in that era. The elephant in the room that you can't not bring up and talk about is the blatant misogyny that exists within some of the older Bond movies. Can you all go back and still enjoy those and just call them as a product of their time? Are they kind of cringeworthy these days? Like, how do you go back and view older Bond movies?
Product of their time.
Yeah.
I feel like that there's, you know, we're too much about now like, oh, well, this is that we view that differently now. So just exercise it from the realm. I don't think that's fair.
You got to have a more nuanced approach.
Exactly.
To it. I think you've got to, I think anybody capable of critical thought should be able to like take an interest in viewing artifacts from previous decades, previous time periods, and looking at it through that lens, right?
Yep.
And the Bond movies are like that. There are other examples throughout the culture like that.
I think Disney Plus, and it's weird that I'm propping up Disney Plus, but like Disney Plus actually does a really good job of that because they'll show a lot of stuff that it might have some questionable content, but they'll put a disclaimer up front.
Yeah.
These films, these cartoons, these whatevers are a product of their time. As such, some things might be offensive to some viewers. We feel it's not in art's best interest to cancel that rather show you and talk about it and maybe influence a discussion, which I think is way more important.
In those early Mickey Mouse cartoons, he's basically a chain smoker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Razul, can you go back and watch any of those old joints? Can you just appreciate them for what they were? Or you're like, man, this is mad problematic, or is it a little combi?
Yeah, I really truly think that to your point, Pete, that it is a product of their time. I think it's something good to go back and understand what they were dealing with at that time and what was acceptable and what they wanted to see based on everything else, right? Like, it wasn't just the Bond movies that were that way. It was in the magazines, it was in the TV shows, it was everything else that was there. So, if you take that away and also understand that I can't name, a person that's into, let me back that up. I can't name anyone that wouldn't want James Bond to be their man if they were looking for a man, right? Yeah. And so that kind of stereotype or archetype kind of carried over from those movies, no matter what happened, in the rest of the movie, how misogynist they were. So,
all right, right on. Yeah, and it's interesting to watch how you, in order to progress, you have to start somewhere, right? And then starting somewhere definitely starts with the Connery era, and then you see kind of towards the end of that Moore era, it's less just using just boning the Bond girl just to check a box off the list. And suddenly, and she's not just a tool. Suddenly, she's more of a coworker. She's an asset. You start seeing that
Like
towards
Christmas Jones.
not like this. Well, unfortunately, yes.
Christmas only comes once a year.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You start seeing at the end of A View to a Kill, that kind of starts happening. And then you get that throughout the Dalton era. And then, like, by the time GoldenEye hits, man, you got Tatiana, or whatever her name was, or Natalia Smirnova, Russian name. And she's just a full-on, she's got her own fucking B-plot and her own revenge story and all that kind of good stuff.
But
so
unbelievably sexy.
But also
she's one of the
unbelievably
reasons
sexy.
that movie's my favorite. She's one of my favorite Bond girls.
Yeah.
I just love her.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Natalia Smirnova.
Yeah. There you go. You
I
got
could,
it.
yeah, I could say that shit.
And nowadays, you got Olga Kurylenko, who doesn't even, nothing sexual there. So she's just like, I'm out to kill this dude, and I'm going to kill this dude. And
Which also made her sexy, by the way.
Well, it's a very good point. But unfortunately, they're like, we still got to check that box. So that's how you get Strawberry Fields in that movie. The dumbest name. And yes, this is in the franchise where Plenty O'Toole was a name.
Pussy Galore was
Pussy
also a name.
Yeah, we get Strawberry Fields. But whatever, man. It's continuing to progress and stay updated. And hopefully this franchise does not go away. So, with that being said, man, now that Craig's era is at its end, it is time for us to draft our picks, us as studio execs, as what the next James Bond cast is going to be.
Oh, boy.
The criteria we are casting for, which I did not write down on my sheet here. We are casting for a Bond. We are casting a new M. We are casting a Q. We're casting a Moneypenny, a Bond girl, or Bond guy, if you want to gender flip that. I'm 100% with you. Gender flipping any of these. We need a henchman, a villain, a location, because that is that's
Hallmark.
a must for
Hallmark
any
of
of
the series,
the climactic third battle there, or
And
third
an
act.
exotic location. I think,
Yes, an exotic location. A car, that was one of Brian's musts. And an artist to do our Bond score.
And that'll be the last one we all pick,
Yes,
right?
and the last one we will pick is artist. We will pick
Are we
that.
going to go now? Are we going to go down the list,
nope.
or are we going to do like the team was where we can pick whatever?
Yeah, we're gonna. So just so you know, Russell, whatever you want to pick, you can. If you want to snag
lock
Q, or
in
we're getting a
something?
Bond. That's all. But artist, we will save all for last. That will be our last pick. So we need to figure out what our draft order will be here. And I will take this one right here. And oh boy, this is not starting how I wanted it to start. And we'll pass this bad boy on around. I am free. Oh, well. The rookie gets number one.
Yeah, let him have it. Let him have it.
Shit.
Have it.
As it begins, so it shall end.
2.
2 for Pete and Mr. Martin.
Back in seat 4.
4.
Them back-to-back picks are no joke,
Look,
man.
I've been comfortable
true.
before in seat 4, and I feel good about that today.
All right, then. Well, with that being said, if we are ready to go, Mr. Walls, we are picking actors and actresses to fill these parts, of course, with the exception of like car and location. Wherever you want to go first, the floor is yours.
I'm not starting with Bond. I think we're gonna go with Q.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
bold.
Who you what actor, what actress you got for Q?
Yeah, so Q is important. I mean, you can't have cool shit without a cool Q, right? Like we need to have Q be the person that is first. When you see Q, you got to go, all right, that motherfucker's cute, right?
As soon as he comes on the screen, a title card, this motherfucker's cute.
Right. Like you just got to go like, all right, he's smart as hell. So, that's the way. So I was thinking about folks like getting real funny, like Simon Pegg, might be a great choice for that.
Right, yeah.
Martin Freeman, but he's already in Black Panther. He's going to be all through the Marvel universe, stuff like that. Then I got real funky. I was like, ooh, Matthew Reyes from The Americans.
Oh, I know him. Yeah, Perry Mason.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Mason.
that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Nice
then
pick.
And then I thought about it, and Pete told me, hey, Poprikans, motherfuckers are only like 30. You're not going to know any of these folks.
Oh, you're picking Harry Styles.
So I'm going with Emma Watson.
Ooh,
Wow.
that is a dark horse, and I like it.
I
I'm
like
here
that
for
too.
it.
I like that too. That's
Wow,
good.
yeah, I believe she could design some shit.
Yeah.
I mean, she already did. This pen will eject polyjuice potion.
Just so you know, every one of these picks, this will be the first draft with full visual aids. So when I put these up, I will have this is player one and all of the visual
helpful.
aids. So yes.
Oh, like a
Poprika
visual.
can
So there's a picture of Emma Watson on the screen right now.
Fantastic.
yes.
Just look at her, guys.
look at her.
I want you to
Look
take a
at
second and just look at her.
Look at her.
Drink it in with the eyes.
And make sure that you pick a picture with her with glasses so that way we can do the smart piece for Q.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's good thinking.
I will do endeavor to do my best to pick the best looking, most sexiest pictures of all of the people we cast to help
Including
us out.
Pete Lentz.
Including, I mean, every picture of Pete Lentz.
Just bask in it, for real.
He doesn't have
Just
a
look
bad
at it.
angle.
No,
I've been
he
looking
doesn't.
for it.
No,
I mean,
he doesn't.
have
He
a
doesn't.
bad
Always
angle.
looks great.
I'm all cobalt blue.
So Emma Watson, man. So you got the Harry Potter franchise. She's in that. What is that? That Seth Rogen, James Franco, Jonah Hill nonsense with Jay Baruchel.
Oh,
This is the
this is
end?
the end.
Is
This is
that what
the
it
end.
is? Yeah,
everybody was in This Is the End for a little bit. Before they fell in the hole.
Channing Tatum as a dom there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, then very nice.
Good
Emma
first pick.
Watson, yeah, good first pick off the board. Pete,
Yes.
where do you go, sir?
Well, I need to lock in my narrative.
So you have like a tone, a theme.
I do have a whole thing, and I have reasons for these characters being in not only in their places, but why some are gender swapped and all of the things that I have. I came up with reasons for all this crap. So
Okay, before we get into that, are you willing to reveal like what is the tone? Is it dark and gritty? Is it more light and campy? Is it somewhere in the middle? Or
it's
can you
going to
reveal
be.
that?
Yeah, I think I can. My first and second acts will be lighter in scope because we're gonna be showing, some of the Bond conventions will be flipped on their heads. I'm gonna be the Bond director that Twitter is gonna flip shit about. They're gonna be very angry with me.
Always a good sign.
They're going to be very angry with me. But so the first and second acts are going to be lighter in tone. When we move into the third act, shit's going to get real. Because I do want, every good movie, even if it's going to be funny, it's got to have a good third act payoff. And so, so that's how I'm kind of presenting it. I'm taking the Marvel tack. People seem to like those films.
So where do you go first, sir?
All right, so I'm gonna take my Bond off the table, and for right now, let's call this person 007.
I refuse.
I'm going with Florence Pugh.
Flo Pugh.
Florence Pugh is my pick for new 007.
I like it.
There is a for me there is a full on narrative. I am actually going. I'm going here with this film.
All right.
In the first 15-minute action sequence, James Bond is going to die. Bond himself will die. M, whoever that is that I'm going to pick, needs to
It's
pick.
like, here's his skin. You
Yeah.
got to wear his skin, Florence Pugh, and convince people that he's still alive.
But James Bond is gonna perish. M needs to pick a new 007. There are several candidates coming up through MI6, and they're looking real strongly at Florence Pugh's character. The kitsch later on, when they get her in the program and they start running her through her tests, and we get to actually see how one gets to be a 00 agent.
Okay.
And so I'm going to have some stuff and some blood testy, this and that. It's going to be revealed somewhere along the line. Bond hit some skins and maybe
the law of averages being what it is.
Maybe didn't play the pull-out game just right, and turns out she actually is a descendant of Bond.
Yeah, his pull-out game is weak.
By the end of the film, she can still adopt the Bond moniker. Now, her first name can be whatever, but she can still fill that
Bond
moniker,
role.
that nomenclature.
some
right,
wild
all
shit.
right, so
Pete.
let's-
That is some wild shit. That feels a lot.
I cannot wait to see who else is on your
Right.
list.
But so the idea of the film is
let
that
Pete draft his whole list
Yeah.
right now.
the idea of the film is that it is not a reboot. It's not an alternate universe. It's not a Ghostbusters 2016. It's fucking not that. This is a continuation of the Bond storyline, moving it into the future.
All right, right on. So
They should fucking let me
quick,
write
though.
shit.
But you do know the next Bond is going to be a chick already, right? Like, I mean,
Well, I heard whispers, but then again, I also heard whispers that Idris Elba was going to be the next Bond. So, I mean,
all right.
at this point, dude, if it comes from We Got This Covered, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you very much, Pete, for that.
dude,
plug.
I got your back on that. I got your back.
So,
Fuck that place.
we're about a week from We Got This Covered reporting that Florence Pugh has been cast as the new Bond.
All right.
I have put it into the ether.
Yeah.
It could happen
Yeah.
now.
is that Tom from We Got This Covered right over there? I mean, I've seen
You
it.
heard it here first.
This is
That's why you can't sit in that chair.
That's the chair's got that
We Got
covered.
This Covered chair.
I'm gonna go ahead and pick my M.
Cool.
Because you need somebody that's like M is the boss, right? So you need somebody a little bit older, got some gray in the hair, grizzled, can be a hard case, but every once in a while M will peel that back and you can see a little bit of humanity underneath. I thought about, because every once in a while Bond will get a little cheeky with their casting, and I thought about going Pierce Brosnan for my M. Decided that wasn't the way to go. Yeah. And I thought about who else could go through it. Maybe Hugh Grant could be there. He kind of played that role already in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. But then I decided in order to take this dude off the board for anyone else to draft, and also to give me an extra vote or two, Idris Elba will be my M.
Clever guy.
Very smart.
Yeah.
I both applaud you and wipe my brow in. Whew.
Look, he's one of the most charming motherfuckers there are in Hollywood. We have seen him in the Suicide Squad, and we loved him in the Suicide Squad. This is coming out of Suicide Squad, people. I'm sure he does a great job there. I mean, you can't name a bad Idris Elba performance. People want to see this motherfucker as Bond pretty bad. I have someone else I would like to throw in that casting, but I will still get those Idris Elba votes. So that is who I go for. My
Smart
M.
man. Smart man. He was on my Bond list.
Was he?
He was
Definitely.
not number one.
I have four alternates. I have four
right.
alternates on my Bond list, and one of them was Idris Elba, so I needed a fifth alternate, I guess.
When I originally designed this joint in the shower, which is where I designed 90% of the drafts, I was like, all right, then. Elba's going to be one of the first people at the table, so I got to figure out a way to circumvent that. Brian, you get the last pick of round 1 and the first pick of round 2. By the way, we do have a Poprika Fantasy Football League coming up, too.
Hey, put me down.
All right, Mr. Martin.
I'm going to cast my money penny first.
Money penny.
And my money penny is going to be Haley Atwell.
Yes. Yes.
I like that.
I think
now-
I'm going to fucking vote for yours when
Now,
this comes out.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Because I was very much considering Idris Elba as Bond. Under the only thing was like if Idris Elba was flirting with Haley Atwell, all y'all getting turned on a little bit.
I think I would.
Not
Yeah.
a human on Earth wouldn't be turned on by that.
Not going to
scenario.
lie about that.
But yeah, Haley Atwell, I don't want to say she's older, but she's got that sort of wise presence. Mm-hmm. She's not exactly, I don't think she's Bond girl material, but she's just too authoritative for that, you know? And we all know she looks fantastic.
Looks fantastic.
She already kind of looks like Moneypenny as Agent Carter.
That's
Like,
true.
She's
That's
got
true.
that look
yeah,
already.
she's got
you
that
know?
look. Yeah. So yeah, Haley Atwell, 100% my money penny and my first pick the whole time. That was actually the first category that I even cast.
So the first thing you came up with was Haley Atwell as.
First thing I was like, hey, where am I putting Haley Atwell in this movie? That was the very first thing.
Amazing.
And I was like, car? Maybe car.
I would definitely drive
gentlemen.
her around.
Yeah.
I would.
Okay, all right then. And Brian, it is. Have you seen any Haley Atwell outside of the MCU?
Yes.
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Where else did she popped up in a, what was the movie she popped up in? She was a teacher, I think. Anybody? Anybody?
It's Coach Carter, I think he's.
It wasn't. No, gosh. I don't remember. Anyway,
right on.
I think next I am going to go for my Q, and I am going to pick Tom Hiddleston as my Q.
Oh, nice.
Oh, going for the zeitgeist is what you're doing.
Yeah. I had a number of alternates ranging from more serious to sillier. Ricky Gervais was on my list.
Oh God.
I'd be all right with that. Actually, I'd be okay with that.
But Tom Hiddleston can straddle the line, I think.
Yeah.
Like Tom Hiddleston's name has been kicked around as a new Bond too, and I don't see him as a Bond. I see him like maybe it's just his role as Loki in the Thor movies, but I think he works well as like second banana, who's there for both seriousness and comic relief. And I think Q can kind of provide both of those. And I think he's also, Tom Hiddleston's got this ability he has this air of superiority that Q would fill that role pretty well. Like, you don't understand how any of this shit works. I'm going to have to teach you, you know?
Okay.
Okay.
Tom
Hiddleston's also, like, to your point, second banana. He's kind of like the Scottie Pippen of like all of those movies.
Yeah,
right?
he is,
Like,
right?
I mean,
Yeah.
He's not Jordan, but damn, is he good?
He's good. He's
good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston, number 33 on the Chicago Bulls. Have you seen The Night Manager? Have any of you seen The Night
No.
Manager?
No, I didn't.
It's,
I've not.
It was his audition, it seems like, for James Bond. But I dig it. I also dig...
It went left too. I wasn't ready for that.
Wasn't ready for that.
Wasn't ready for that from him.
Also, the dude who plays House is a pretty damn decent Bond villain.
So yeah, he's on the list somewhere in here somewhere.
Let me just keep on moving, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and get my cue as well, since Brian doing all sorts of nonsense and shenanigans. The Bond Q relationship, I think, is very important. Like, it's half serious, like, this is the shit you need to stay alive while you do your job. So pay attention, 007. But also, like, Q Bond early on in the Connery years is just like your crazy uncle giving you shit. And then
he just show up in like the Hawaiian shirts and like he just drive a boat up to a dock somewhere.
And as Desmond Llewellyn got older and our bonds kind of stayed the same age, it almost became a father. It transitioned to a father-son relationship. But you still need that kind of a little bit of sternness, a little bit of lightheartedness. Yeah,
I'm cracking that bitch.
cracking that bitch. And it's also, that's where your comedic element comes from. A little bit of your comedic shit comes from your cue. So in that vein, I'm going to get Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Ooh, that's
wow.
a good
as
pull.
my cue.
That's
excellent.
real good.
That's excellent.
Yeah. Oh man, that's good.
And that's it. That was
right.
Rasul is shaking his.
That's the
he's
draft,
scratching
guys.
his head
Okay,
over
so
there.
man,
who's
that is
picking
good.
Tig Notaro for something?
Yeah, listen, if you have not seen, you out there in Poprika land and not seen Fleabag season 1, season 2 on Amazon Prime, it is some of the best comedy that has been produced in the last 5 or 10 years.
I would say there's only 2 perfect 10 shows I've seen in the last probably 7 or 8 years, and Fleabag is one of them.
What's the other one?
Watchmen's probably the other perfect 10.
Dude, Watchmen was so
My
good.
man.
I think everything else, because I said that at trivia last week because I had a Fleabag question and somebody was like, Breaking Bad. I was like, Breaking Bad's a 9.8 because it went on 2 episodes too long.
All right, fair enough.
That's it.
Fair enough.
What about Marvelous Miss Maisel?
I haven't watched it yet.
People, neither have I, man. People have been
if
telling
you
me
guys
to
don't-
get on some.
First of all, if you're
Who's
not
in
into
that? Wait,
it,
Poprikans
after-
watch this show?
They will after the first episode. I mean, wow.
Good stuff.
Yes.
All right, then. I got to get on that show.
Yes, you should.
All right, then. Pete, it is over to you, Saul.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take my Bond girl off the list because I feel that this dynamic is important in this new realm. My Bond girl is Chris Hemsworth.
Love it. Love it.
Chris Hemsworth plays 008, an agent who's actually angry because he's been passed on for the coveted 007 role.
Nice.
Then he meets Florence Pugh, and they do not get along.
All right.
It takes the course of the film, and then like before the end, maybe they'll get together. But I'm toying with the idea of circumventing them sleeping together. Maybe we create a dynamic here that lasts for more than one film. Maybe the Bond character doesn't get bedded because you know what I'm saying. Kind of thinking about
It's gonna be like moonlighting or something, where it's like,
Right.
will they or won't they?
It'll
I'm
be the
kinda-
ultimate Mulder Scully.
maybe trying to build that up a little bit. Like maybe, you know, Florence Pugh's Bond isn't attainable by people she works with, but uses
where you eat.
uses her body to get, you know, to do her spy shit.
All right, right on.
You know,
Right.
so I mean, maybe taking a little bit of cues from Black Widow, but you would have had to make these. You would have had to draw these correlations anyway if you're making a Bond movie that stars a woman, because a woman's going to use her wiles to do the things. We've seen it in every spy thing.
yeah.
It just so happens that
just
Black
works, I
Widow
don't
has
know.
a fucking movie where the Red Room's a thing. So you know,
Unfortunately, they
mean-
reference Moonraker, the shittiest Bond movie there is out there.
so that's my pick.
Is the female Ghostbusters your favorite Ghostbuster because Chris Hemsworth is also the meat cake in that movie?
That's a good question.
I don't think I like your tone, buddy. No, I for me, Chris Hemsworth was the best part of that film. I thought he was the fun. He had all the best funny shit. Like he got to be completely
McKinnon.
stupid and
Kate
ridiculous.
McKinnon was my spirit
And then
animal.
when
I
he
love
got possessed, he like all the dancing, and he might have thought that was silly or whatever, but like that's his turn to like. He was owning, the spotlight was on him in that moment, and I think he kind of, you know, I don't want to say he carried the movie. It wasn't like that because those girls are really awesome. You know, Kate McKinnon, obviously amazing. I don't particularly find Kristen Wiig very funny, but
Me either.
but-
God, she's not funny.
but I think Melissa McCarthy is funny as shit.
yes.
So
Thank you.
Yeah.
like, and if you're gonna put like if Kristen Wiig's the odd man out on that team, that's still a funny team.
Yes.
You know,
Right on.
Yeah.
I think Ghostbusters 2016 suffered from bad writing. I thought the script for that movie sucked ass. But the team you assembled to
Superman
be your
Returns.
thing.
Sorry.
What's the matter with Superman Returns?
Everything.
Not everything. Brandon Routh was awesome.
He was.
Yeah,
but,
it's a good cast assembled in a really shitty movie.
Yeah.
right,
You know,
right.
This
It's
cast is in the
another
wrong
land
fucking
grab.
movie. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Literally a land grab.
It's the one thing they aren't making anymore. Of. So that's my pick. The Bond girl guy will be Chris Hemsworth, and we're going to set off in this film. We're going to set off a new dynamic.
I have a prediction. I don't think any of the Poprikans are going to be able to figure out whose list is Pete's.
No. Now, Pete, man, you might come with.
There's another reason. There's another reason I went with my list, man. I'm trying, dude. I want that fucking W.
Are we in the era of Pete? All right, Rasul, man. It's now you had some concerned facial expressions when I cast Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Was that anywhere in your list of a possibility?
She was in there, but not for. She was a alternate, as you might say. And now that you've taken her off the table, I think
What
that
was she an alternate for?
Actually, she was the alternate for the villain.
Oh, that would be
Oh, man.
interesting. Okay. All right. So where do we go next on your list?
So I like where Pete's going. So I'm gonna stick with the Bond girl, and I was thinking around, I was thinking like these big British names like Anna Popwell or Natalie Emmanuel, and yes, you have to look them up and see how they look, and you're like,
You don't
okay,
have to
great.
because the picture's right on the screen.
Drink it in, Pop.
Soak it up.
Game of Thrones is Natalie Emmanuel.
Then I wanted to go left field and go Shavini Guy, and if you look her up, I mean, she is amazing.
Totally goes to look up.
But since nobody will know who she is, I am going with. Oh, the other honorable mention is Gugu Mbatha, because of course she was in Loki just
Judge
now.
Renslayer.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But just to get her off the board, and I think she can just play anything, anywhere. I'm going Emilia Clarke.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good pull. Good pick.
Okay.
Very good pick.
I think that's a good pull because I think she's hot as hell, but I think you're going to trigger the the sourpuss Game of Thrones fans.
Yes, that's.
They're fucking, Emilia Clarke, fuck you, season 8. Fucking die.
There might be one or two of those, but I think that's still an overall a good pull. Did you watch all of Thrones? Were you a Thrones fan?
I did, and I think that I might have her actually have like 3 dragon tattoos on her back somewhere as she's taking off and going on the beach or something.
Okay.
And yeah, season 8 was fucking terrible, but overall, great show.
Great show.
I do not rate that show by the strength of its final season.
No, nor do I.
That show would have been crumbling since 5, so you probably should rank it by the horrible whack
Since
half
5,
of the
really?
series.
I
Yes.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It crumbles at 5. That's where I tapped out at for a couple of reasons. Emilia Clarke, not our best Sarah. She was Sarah Connor in the Terminator, wasn't she?
She was.
Yeah, yeah.
She was in Dark Fate. She was Sarah Connor.
No, she was Genesis.
Genesis. They all fucking run together. I mean, it's the same goddamn thing over and over again, isn't it?
They didn't fuck up with Emilia Clarke in Genesis, though. They fucked up on who they got to play her counterpart. I forget the guy's name, but he was, he failed in the Die Hard movie.
Sam Whitebread?
Right.
Oh, not Sam Whitebread.
Yeah. I could be talking about at least 3 different dudes right now.
Once again, Sam Worthington, Jai Courtney.
Fucking Jai Courtney.
That one dude.
All right.
Stop trying to make him a thing, Hollywood.
I think, we'll get him in Suicide. We have seen him in the Suicide Squad, and we liked him in the Suicide Squad, I'm sure.
Wow, that's a bold statement, Cotton.
He's not bad. In the
I
first
could not
Suicide
believe
Squad.
that they killed him off in the first 5 minutes.
He's not a bad part of that first Suicide Squad. They let him act in his natural accent for once, which was nice to hear. And he's just kind of fucking funny. So
But how can you not make Die Hard work? Like,
being the best part of the first Suicide Squad movie is a pretty low bar.
True. Yeah.
My favorite part of the Suicide Squad movie was the credits. So
Don't be that guy. Don't
oh
be that
no,
guy.
fuck that movie, man. That movie
All right.
sucked all the balls.
Pete, we are back over to
Already?
you.
Did you pick two? No,
Oh,
you
yeah,
gotta pick
yeah,
two.
yeah,
Come
come
on.
on.
Yes,
Man, I'm
snake
sorry.
draft,
I'm
snake
trying to
draft.
snake draft. I'm cheating you here. My bad.
All good. So I think that the best part about the picks that are left is that we can really go anywhere with anything.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to go with my M. And I, like you, thought like, hey, you got to have a little gravitas. You got to be there for a while. So I'm thinking, Michael Caine or Clive Owen.
Oh, no.
Or even a Hugh Laurie. And then I was thinking, like, maybe I should switch it up and go with Thandie Newton.
A little Westworld.
That's
action
hot.
for you.
Was hot. And then
Never been turned on by M before, but I'm willing to give it a chance.
Robert Browning, get over here.
And speaking of turned on, I was even thinking, and by the way, she could be 90, and I'm still like, oh my God, she's a queen.
Helen fucking Mirren.
Yeah.
Yes.
I watched Excalibur last night.
Always.
I know what it's about.
she's the gilfiest.
Go watch Caligula,
Helen Mirren
folks.
can get it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But who would you pick, sir?
But with all that said, I went with Peter Dinklage.
Yes! Wow! He should be in an M suit. Like Krang.
Jesus Christ,
And I went that route because
Wow.
when you think about X-Men and, he played the guy that built the Sentinels, and I'm like,
Trask.
He should have been in a Bill Duke suit.
But I just saw his gravitas in that where he just was controlling shit. And I'm like, dude, he could tell Bond what to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
He's
That's
got an
a-
intensity to his face for
that is
sure.
That is a good pick. See, this is what I was going to love about this. Is like everybody's just pulling names. Like I never thought of Peter Dinklage.
No.
Not in my life, but for this draft. Did
But
not
this
think of it.
director's got the stones to do it.
Henchman maybe going for that that tattoo vibe from Man with the Golden Gun, whatever.
Right.
It's the money, please.
But wow,
The
good
opposite of odd job.
Yes.
Random task.
Now, how many
I get
more?
that tiny guy hand job to come out.
How many more Game of Thrones people do you plan on casting, sir? Do you have any more on your list there?
I mean, look, hey, if Marvel Universe can cast everybody from Lord of the Rings, I can cast as many fucking people from Game of Thrones as I want to.
You're gonna catch some Game of Thrones on these lists.
I have no
think.
Game of Thrones on my list as far as I know of.
Plus, it is a British show, right? Like, I mean, like this is a movie that's about Brits, right?
I mean, not necessarily. I mean,
I'm talking about the main characters. I mean, you're not working for MI6 if you're
a Jamaican dude.
Right.
It's the Bond man.
Although there were some Black Widows that were across the board because you need to be able to fit in, right? Diversity is important right now.
Yes,
so,
it is.
Especially when you're trying to infiltrate governments. That's a really good point.
Yep.
They were kind of ahead of the curve on that whole diversity thing, weren't they?
Pete Lentz. You
Yes,
have
sir.
a Bond, you got a Bond guy.
Yep.
Where are you going next?
Okay, next. M's are starting to go. I'm starting to get a little nervous. So
Every M must go.
I'm gonna fucking pick my M. He's one of my favorite British actors, man. And we've already seen him be a top dog and a boss. I'm going with Colin Firth.
Colin Firth, the king himself.
That was on my list.
And in my fiction,
Never even thought of.
this particular M was a former 00 agent. So he knows how MI6 works.
That's
So
how
the-
I was thinking about it as well.
The opposite of Ray Fiennes, then. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Then. So,
Pencil pusher.
So you're, what you say?
Fucking pencil pusher.
Pusher. Yeah, Ray Fiennes. Yeah.
Numbers guy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they called him a numbers person too in GoldenEye there. Is your narrative still planning out as you thought it would, Pete?
Absolutely.
You're still on track.
Absolutely. Shit's still locked in. There's a few of these characters, like I gotta, my villain and my henchman, I've gotta lock those in. But then everything else is
It's fluid.
There's no way you guys are picking what I have. So
That's kind of the mentality.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many
Yeah.
people on the board across decades of actors and actresses that I have one person, maybe an alternate for my people. So you come out with 4 alternates. You're crazy talk right now, Martin.
I was like, man, like if anything gets taken off the board, I just got to be prepared.
Gotta be prepared
Now,
for
a
all
lot of these,
cases.
I only have like one choice.
Okay.
So
All right.
I got 5 alternates for all of them. I'm a rookie. I'm over prepared.
see, this is exactly the reason though that Phoebe Waller-Bridge didn't end up on my list somewhere. Because if I had just thought about this for more than 5 minutes, it wasn't that. It was just that I beelined to Haley Atwell for Moneypenny, and I built the whole thing around Moneypenny.
Okay.
In fact, it's Moneypenny.
It's the Moneypenny movie.
It's kind of like the new He-Man show, right?
Yeah, right.
It's all about
Exactly.
tequila.
Exactly. Boy, the trolls are gonna have a field day with this.
yeah, dude.
I'm going to go ahead and,
Sniff.
I'm going to go ahead and get my money penny, I guess.
I was about to say, whoever it is better be tasty because you were like,
I'm going to go ahead and get my money penny off the board here. I think my villain is fairly safe for now. My money penny, man, kind of new on the scene. She is, she's out of theaters by the time you listen to this, but she's currently in theaters in trying to be a new big franchise joint. We have seen her in a couple of joints. Seen her on the Netflix joint. We've seen her some other shit, man, in the horror joint. My cast also for Sue Storm. I'm getting Samara Weaving as my money penny. Yeah.
She's in Snake Eyes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And a Sue Storm,
She
too.
is. That is my pick for Sue Storm. She is horrible in Snake Eyes
Oh yeah.
because they added Baroness, they added Scarlet for no reason whatsoever. It's absolutely useless. It was just more like, put them in here. They're like forced Hawkeye and Thor, right? We didn't need Hawkeye
But
and
Scarlet's
Thor, really.
part of Snake Eyes' backstory, though.
But they do
Like,
nothing.
did they not do anything?
worthwhile.
Yeah, they didn't do it right.
Yeah, they didn't
come
do it
on.
right. Yeah, it's a completely unnecessary inclusion.
And I loved Hawkeye and Thor, by the way. Like, he was on the perch and he was just watching and waiting.
I'm like, yo, a dude with bow and arrows is a dude who took out dudes with guns. All right, well, let's see how this
He's
shit
far
goes.
away, though.
He's far, he's got the
fucking
reach.
far away.
He's got the reach. He's a slinger. Yeah. That's right. All right, then. So, Samara Weaving. If you are not familiar with Samara Weaving, please get familiar. Watch Ready or Not.
If you're not familiar with Samara Weaving, you probably are. You just thought she was Margot Robbie.
My Moneypenny list says Margot Robbie, Samara Weaving.
Oh, you had a thing going. You had a theme here.
I knew what I know what I want my Moneypennies, and she's the hot thing. Like everyone loved her.
Ready or Not.
Not,
It's fucking awesome.
It is awesome.
God damn, that movie was good.
And she was good in
Way
Bill
better
and
than-
Ted.
Yeah.
I still haven't
honestly.
seen Bill.
Oh, she
I
was
haven't seen it yet.
fantastic
Yeah,
in
it's on
that.
the
Like
list.
total, like not playing against her stereotype at all, man. Like she was fantastic in Bill and Ted. I
She's
thought.
pretty great in the Netflix joint. Is it called Hollywood? I think it's called Hollywood. It's
Yes,
kind of
it
a
is Hollywood,
reimagining of
That was
if they actually
interesting.
let people of color into Hollywood
Right.
earlier, and she is great in that as well. Yeah, that was a good hungover watch on the couch. Brian Martin, you in round 2, begin round 3.
All right. Well, I am, I guess, going to go ahead and take my M, and he has already been mentioned as a possibility for this, and he has already essentially played the part. But it's going to be Hugh Grant.
Nah.
Hugh Grant's just got this sort of like dopey kind of quality where it's like, you know, he's authoritative, but he's also like a pushover. Like he's kind of walks the line. So I think he could actually like seem like more of a pushover than he actually is until like late in the movie when he has to put his foot down about something and he just delivers this just searing, dramatic kind of monologue.
All right.
Like I'm thinking of what was the Undoing, that show on HBO last year that he was in, where he played this sort of fairly likable, horrible person.
He's great at those roles.
Yeah, and that's why I think he's a good boss character. You know, a good actor for that. So
I actually had him on my list, but I took him off after because I just remembered The Gentleman. He was in that movie.
He is great.
And he is great in that movie, but he's just so
Slimy.
goofy. Yeah, just nasty. And I'm like, that's not the guy I want running MI6.
We don't want Hugh Grant from The Gentleman
Right.
running MI6. All right, then. Good call, sir. Good call. And who do you pick up next to begin round 4?
yeah, I think we're on round 4, right?
Yep.
Gosh. I'm going to go for Bond Girl, and I'm going to pick Gal Gadot.
Oh, interesting.
Just
All I
because
want to do is vote for your list, bro. You
I was like, I had to find somebody hotter than Haley Atwell, and there was like only one option. This was the one where I had the most alternates because I was just like going down the list. Like Julia Fox was on my list, and Gemma Chan
Uncut
was on my
Gems.
list. And had this draft gone a little differently, Gemma Chan would have been my top pick actually. So I'm a little bit off track right now, but I was like, nah, Gal Gadot. That's
All right. Gal Gadot. Yeah, she is our Wonder
she's going to
Woman.
look good in whatever you put her in.
That's very good. Very good.
She
point.
looks good in shitty movies.
She does. She elevates the content quite well.
Furious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When she steps out of that car in Wonder Woman 84 and the dress is just flowing all around her, like that's the
best part of that
That's
film.
it.
That's
Yes,
it, yeah.
yes, it is. Yes,
Yeah.
it is, 'cause movie's
That
not
and the
good.
credits. That's what I like about
Again,
that movie.
that credit scene was kind of nice.
Credit scene, yeah.
How many Fast and Furious was she in? Just one?
Two? I think she was in 2.
She was in 2. Yeah, she was in Fast 5.
6 and 7, right? And she died in 7.
She died in the one, and they put her back in 10 because it was a kind of flashback. But yeah, she wasn't in it enough.
No, certainly not. I was like, why did she die? What happened? Why bring her back?
And they listened.
Like, you couldn't kill one of the ugly dudes that don't actually drive cars.
Well,
You
they
had to
can't kill
her.
Ludacris, and they
No, you're
can't
not
kill
killing
Tyrese. You can't not going to kill Tyrese and Ludacris.
there's
Like they are the the Troy and Abed of the Fast and Furious franchise. You don't get rid of them.
Especially in the last one. I mean, they sent them to space in like tape. Like they literally were in tape and they still survived.
It's like going into space like cardboard boxes, like fucking Calvin and Hobbes.
Ludacris
Flight of
and
the
Tyrese in
Intruder.
the morning.
All right, Gal Gadot, sir. All right, I see what you're doing there. Great pick. It's back over to me. Still, at this point, one Bond has been taken, by the way.
I think if you get the rest of the cast, it's Bond is just like you could just put whoever the fuck in there.
Right.
My Bond is Ray Park.
I have big Scott Adkins for my Bond. I'm going to go ahead and get my...
Active.
Yeah. Go ahead and get my... Everybody else is getting Bond girl. You know what? No. I feel like my Bond girl is safe enough. I'm gonna get my henchman off the list.
By the way, Scott Adkins was on my henchman list.
Is he really? I feel like a henchman, he's got to be the big beefy. He's the heavy, right? Like when your Bond goes toe to toe with the henchman, it's gotta be a good scrap. They gotta have, in this day and age, man, people want to see the muscles.
Ronda Rousey.
But
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano. No, not in my moves. I want to sell tickets to my movies.
Hey, you can sell tickets with her just to the MAGA crowd.
No thanks. No thanks. You gotta go with the muscles. And there's someone who has proven over the last couple of years that they definitely come equipped with the muscles, man. Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
Like it?
B. Jordan's going to be your henchman?
Yeah, man. We've already seen him be a.
That's
Your
a
villain
downgrade.
better be fucking good,
Right, that's what I'm
proper.
saying.
He's going to say to his
That's what I'm
agent, I ain't
saying.
fucking doing this.
Yeah, man. It's
I ain't
gonna-
a henchman.
no henchman.
You don't give me henchman money?
Yeah, I'm.
The story of the wildest James Bond film ever.
Yeah, man, Michael B. I feel like we saw him, and we've obviously seen him in Creed and in Black Panther. The dude is
swole.
Jacked,
he's strapped.
swole.
So he's gonna give you like that good like second act tease and third act like brawl that's gonna go down.
Gains all day. That's what he's making.
Gains.
Yeah, there's good. My movie opens with Michael B. Jordan just doing a load of laundry using Gain. It's gonna set the tone for the rest of the movie. All right, Pete, it is over to you, Si.
Okay. So
You will pick your joint, and then I will escape to get my second beer.
all right. So I'm going to pick my money penny.
Moneypenny.
So with my Bond being Florence Pugh, now I had a couple options. I either gender swap Moneypenny to keep that flirtatious,
No, you get that.
or
No, you
I make
trust you, Pete.
Moneypenny a female
and you keep the flirting.
and keep the flirting.
There you gotta go. There you go.
Okay.
But I'm gonna make it a little awkward. I'm gonna pick Juno Temple for my Moneypenny.
Oh yes. No, I'm there. I'm there for it.
I'm picking Juno Temple from
Great.
Ted Lasso.
Yes,
She plays
that's
Keela
great.
Jones.
Yeah.
And
Vamp as long as you want.
she for right on for
He will.
I absolutely love Ted Lasso. First,
Yes.
like
Oh,
I could
God.
I could give a fucking TED talk about
could
why
be the
Ted
third.
Lasso is one of the greatest shows of all.
It could
time.
be the third perfect 10 for me.
Yeah.
Just
Ted
gotta go a little bit
Lasso's
longer.
Ted Lasso's unbelievable. And I truly think that one of the reasons Ted Lasso is unbelievable is because of Juno Temple. Her character arc in the show, and it's not even a redemption arc. She just kind of suffers at the hands of the dudes around her, not in a like a terrible like abusive way, but she's second fiddle to people, and then figures out you don't have to do that. You don't have to be that kind of person. But she's still like awkward and cheeky, and she can be filthy, and just that way that she is. I think I want to have her in that role, and I want Florence Pugh to flirt with her a little bit. Okay. But that Juno Temple will be giving her that tossy
That's
head
it,
bob
yeah.
and be like, nah, you know what I mean? And kind of, I think it's gonna play really awkwardly
She's
cute.
curious. She's a little curious, Yeah. Okay.
I think it's going to play a little awkwardly cute.
like
Plus, I do enjoy the idea of having a Bond be a little more pansexual. You know, that not just about it's a guy and he's a horn dog and that's part of his character development.
Not
Like,
pansexual in the way that he took a Pan Am flight all over the world.
No, he did not. He was not Lando Calrissian and fucked a robot. No, that's not. No. What I would like to see, I'd like to see a little more.
That robot is my cue, by the way.
I'd like to see a little more playfulness in her in Bond's flirting, in the Bond character's flirting. So
Right on.
Juno Temple
Juno
is my
Temple.
pick.
I dig it.
I dig it. Russell.
Dude, and I gotta say, you brought up Ted Lasso, and I had to look her up, but freaking Hannah Whittingham, she does not get enough credit. She is a gorgeous
Shame.
You know what? I haven't seen Ted Lasso yet, man.
Gorgeous.
Don't you dare sleep on that show,
I have
bro.
to watch season 2 for the Poprika Wars.
You know,
this
the funny
year,
thing is,
so
if
it's
you would
on the
watch
list.
Ted Lasso, your entire list for this draft would have changed.
Absolutely. Agreed.
And Jason Sudeikis is Bond.
No,
Yeah.
thank you.
And by the way, I just started watching Ted. I binge watched it a month ago, and I was like, I see what everybody's fucking talking about.
Yeah.
This thing is great.
Yeah.
One of my very good friends actually is
Ted
one of
Lasso.
the. No, I wish. No, one of my very good friends is actually one of the sound designers on the show, and he was like, and he was starting sending me like, once season 1 had come out, he was starting sending me like insider info and like stuff that
very
cool
nice.
stuff that had happened in the studio. Like Sudeikis actually picks all of the music in that show.
Oh, really?
He picks
that.
everything,
He's a producer
and
on
then
that.
tells them, he's like, use this in here, use this in here, and him and his sound crew right now are actually up for an Emmy for best sound design, because if you listen to the stadium scenes in like Dolby Atmos or some sort of 5.1 or something like that, like it's full on. You are in a studio or you are in a stadium. Like crowds all around you. You know what I mean?
All right.
And so they've done a really good job with how they mixed it. He was telling me some of how they mixed that together and how they got that to go. So, knowing somebody that works on the show, that's pretty cool. But then the show's actually dope as fuck too. Like,
it really is.
I did not expect. People were like, Ted Lasso, he's a football guy that coaches soccer. Funny hilarity ensues. No. I mean, yes, it's funny, but that's not why it's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just a happen circumstance of the show.
I've just never seen a
Like,
show with so many characters I thought were going to annoy the shit out of me
Right.
that had such good character arcs. Like,
Yeah, how do they
every
have
single
such
one of
good
them.
character arcs?
amazing.
I don't understand it.
We got to get some of that energy
Good writing.
Yeah.
in your James Bond movie.
Fuck yeah. That's why I cast Juno Temple.
Temple.
Fuck, she's going to do it for me.
So this is why I like following you up, Pete, because you just take things to places that they, quite frankly, shouldn't go. But since we're going there,
How did you establish Pete's role so well? And this is your first show.
Yeah, I was going to say, Russell, it's like you've been here before. Or, something. Or at the very least, listen to one of these fucking drafts.
Yeah, he's like, I know this Pete guy. I know this guy.
yeah. So I'm thinking, for Money Penny, I was going down this route of, it's got to be somebody cute like a Claire Foy, or even there's a woman named Freema Agyeman. She was from Doctor Who.
Yep.
The black woman from Doctor Who, not this
Season
but the-
3-ish.
No, the last one with the older doctor. I forget the guy's name.
Capaldi?
Capaldi.
I thought she was
So-
on the.
No, she
wasn't?
She's fairly new.
I'm not a Whovian. I can't help.
Nope.
So I was going, someone who was cute with a little bit of depth. But then I decided, based on the rest of my cast, as the way this thing is playing out, to your point, I think this is where I get my comedy. And so with that said, I'm going Dan Levy.
And that's your money, Penny?
That's my
Whoa!
This is just getting wild.
All right.
So hear me out.
I have no idea who's going to win this draft.
I kind of want to see your movie. I'm not going to lie. I kind of want to see that
So,
shit.
I mean, just
ridiculous.
imagine. So, whoever the Bond guy is, right? Because it's going to be, so just think. So, you got the best looking dude on the planet that plays Bond, right? He comes in, Dan Levy is at the desk. And so, you got a gay money penny flirting with James Bond every time he comes in. And you can't tell if the guy's actually flirting back because he's actually into it, pansexual, or if he's flirting back just because he's just that,
He can't stop himself.
just the most, the most awesome man on the planet, right? So that's where I'm getting my
Dan
time.
Levy
my
is fucking brilliant.
Sidebar, my money penny was almost Billy Porter for kind of the same reason. For kind of the same reason. Yeah.
That would have been nice.
That would have been great. And I also like the aspect. So if you think about some of my other picks with M, and I went Peter Dinklage, I think the back and forth between Peter Dinklage and Dan Levy,
That could be some good shit.
yeah, some sparks there.
All right.
They're going off script.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is good.
So
Mr. Walls, it's on you again.
yeah, I'm back up. So I'm going to go with my villain. It's such an important role.
Yes, it is.
I was looking at John Travolta. I was looking at Jeff Goldblum.
No.
I was looking at Colin Farrell, and I was looking at Chide I can't even say his
Yeah,
name.
we know who you're talking about.
So
Ejiofor.
yeah, but then I immediately then I immediately crossed him off the list because he was the best part of a really bad movie in Infinite that just came out. And so
yes, he is.
So with that said, I didn't want anybody to have a bad taste in their mouth with that. So I was gonna go Joaquin Phoenix.
Ooh.
But in honor of your movie tonight, my good friend,
Ralph Fiennes.
I am going Dev Patel.
Hot Dev Patel summer.
Wow.
Can you imagine the tomfoolery, trickery, different layers of levels of, villainy that Dev Patel could come up with?
And I don't think he's ever played a bad guy as far as I know. Not of any Dev Patel movie I've seen.
He's so fucking smooth that, you just don't want to,
You got to the end of the movie. You didn't realize he was the villain in Lion. That's how smooth he is.
Oscar nominated for Lion, by the way.
Definitely Usual Suspects.
Not a bad pick.
That's
sir.
interesting.
Not
No,
a
I
bad
like
pick.
that.
I like that. Yeah. Okay, Dev Patel. Ooh, man, this is getting tasty.
What you gonna do, Pete?
I like the cut of your jib, sir. Lance, Pete, you still got you got a Q out there?
I've got a Q, a villain, a henchman, a locale, and a car. Okay, so I'm gonna pick my Q.
Here we go. The last Q off the board.
Now this is this Q pick is something that one of the things that I was playing with was the idea of the juxtaposition of the workplace flirting being between Q and Bond instead of Moneypenny and Bond, as it's always been, really. But it would be more my Q flirting with Bond. So I was going to juxtapose that a little bit too.
Okay.
Now, I don't know, because now I kind of maybe want Pew to flirt with Temple a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But I still might be able to keep this. Like, just everybody flirts with Pew because, let's face it, she's fucking badass hot, right?
Yeah,
I would flirt with her if I worked with her. Shit, I'd have.
That's the Pete. That's the Pete we wanted. That's the Pete we wanted.
HR would be called. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Of her on a shirt that says, "I'd flirt with her if I worked with her."
I'd flirt with her at work.
Yeah.
And we literally started the show with the misogyny involved.
But I think for that reason,
Being true to ourselves.
I think for that reason, I'm going with somebody that is still considered cute, but still has, like, obviously I don't have to picture him with glasses on because now I've seen it, but I think he can pull this off. I'm going with Tom Holland for my Q.
I was going young with your Bond movie.
Yeah, because I want him, and it's actually, I'll save that for my next pick, but I think Tom Holland messing around in the thing, and he's, he can get real sciencey. He's on the cutting edge of all the new tech because he's the young kid. He's seeing all the emergent stuff. When she walks in the room, he starts doing like turns around and looks, and then like bumps tables and knocks shit over.
So he
and
does his Tom Holland manic thing.
Right.
Well, yeah, he's like kind of awkward because she's fucking badassery strolling in, and she's looking good, and he can't fucking handle it. And then the dynamic between like a Bond and a Moneypenny will kind of switch to a Bond and a Q. But then I kind of want to keep the Bond and Moneypenny thing too. I'd like kind of, a little bit of, sexual fluidity going on in there. I think,
Who's your M?
Colin Firth.
Yeah. I don't know about him flirting with Florence Pugh. I'm trying to help you out.
I didn't say everybody at
the
work.
whole office should be flirting with Florence Pugh, except for Chris Hemsworth, who would, but he's just so angry.
He's so mad. Yeah, no, he's mad at her.
All
He's
right,
fucking mad at her.
not a bad caller.
And are you picking all Avengers at this point? I mean, you guys got on me about my Game of Thrones guy.
That's a good point. We got our Yelena Belova. We got our Spider-Man. We got our Thor.
I didn't really think about that, but yeah, I am picking a bunch of Avengers. Well, again, you made the point. It's kind of hard to pick actors now when all of them are in the MCU. Like, literally all the people.
The only person who was not picked in Avenger is Rasul.
This is true.
We all have at this point.
And by the way, I love your pick.
Killmonger. What's it?
No, that's true. Killmonger. I love that pick because you can also get some of that because he's really physical, so you can get some of that physical comedy as he's testing out gadgets.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know?
Good point.
Yeah,
Good point.
that's kind of where, because I like the idea of the testing physical comedy, because that's one of the funniest things about when Q comes on the scene in every movie. There's always a couple sight gags with his gadgets being dumb.
Zucker Abrams and Zucker comes in and writes that one scene.
Exactly. Which is always great. And so I want to get Lord and Miller to come in and direct the Q scenes.
Oh,
and then
get back to the serious shit. Get back to Sam Mendes.
So get back to the same Mendes. That's right. So that's my pick. Tom Holland is Q.
All right,
Nice.
right on. It is. I like it as well. Things are going your way so far, Pete, you think?
I've gotten everyone I want so far,
Excellent,
man.
excellent.
My cast is coming together. My script does not need any rewrites at this point. Like, I'm good. I'm solid.
All right. At this point, I have a Bond girl, a villain, and then extemporaneous things. So I guess I will go ahead and get my... Yeah, no one's going to get my Bond girl. Get my villain off the list real quick. We're going to keep it British. The one thing I like about Bond villains, my favorite Bond villains are... the smug upper class type, and in this particular instance, I would like, because the thing that people don't realize about Bond is, yeah, he's got the latest suits, and he's got the latest Omega watch, and he's got the good cars, and he always looks nice, but he's still just a blunt instrument thug playing at trying to be a high society person. He's not a high society person. He's a person who wants to be amongst that crowd, who is not of that crowd. And I would like someone who would reflect that as my villain. Like, you try to take down the establishment, but you will never be of the establishment. So that's part of my internal conflict within this joint. And a few people play smug, as well as Elizabeth Debicki plays smug.
Good
Which one is she?
She is the villain from Man from U.N.C.L.E. She is the golden chick from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. She's the chick from Tenet.
Oh, okay.
That is super highbrow. I like that.
That is good. That's some. Everybody's gonna think you're me now.
She's
'Cause
also
nobody
tall
knows
as
the fuck
shit.
that is.
She's tall as shit,
Well,
which
she's
makes
young, so it's not going to be you.
she makes a good villain because she's tall as shit.
Right.
I think she seems like she's very tall, is what I'm saying, guys. Like in that movie Tenet, when she jumps into the water, it's like 5 minutes long of just her torso going in, and you're waiting like, how tall is this woman?
And they put her in heels in that movie, and poor John David Washington just neck problems all throughout that movie. Yeah. Oh yeah. What's going on
With
there?
the Denzel look.
Yeah, Elizabeth Debicki. I mean, she's played the smug villain twice now, as far as I know of her filmography. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, even though you don't get to see it too often, and as the villain in Man from U.N.C.L.E. And it is that pair of performances, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I would want to have, that main narrative of, you will never be part of high society, James Bond. That is kind of like a running thread throughout my business, which is kind of like if you're rebooting a movie, you need to establish the identity of your character. To establish the identity of Daniel Craig was, just bruiser, right? And this is kind of like a retworking of that. Like, you'll never be quite one of us. You know your role. Brian,
Love it.
your Bond's still out there. Your henchman's still out there. Your villain's still out there.
I think
Gotta go with your card.
I think I'm going to take care of. I think I'm going to take care of two of those categories right now because I don't have a choice. I'm going to take villain first. Yes, I'm going to take villain first. And I wanted to find the heaviest of the heavies for the villain role.
Richard Kiel is dead. You know that, right?
I do know that. And while the person I am drafting has said he's done, I think with a sweet enough role,
Also, Sean Connery is
he could
dead.
come back. I didn't say dead.
Oh, okay.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
I knew it.
Wow.
Come at me, bro. The greatest actor.
That's the name of his movie, by the way.
Yeah. The bro is where the 007 starts. It's like come
at me,
at
bro.
me, bro. It's like the O in come and the O in bro and then a 7 at the bottom.
Yeah.
Nice.
Daniel Day-Lewis. I mean, the greatest thespian of a generation.
Yes, our generation.
Yeah. So
Probably 2 generations.
just bringing the heat in a James Bond movie.
Oh, yeah. So you got There Will Be Blood, Daniel Day-Lewis, who's just a fucking piece of shit. You got Gangs of New York, Daniel Day-Lewis, who's just a fucking piece of shit. All right. The man knows how to play some bad guys.
Yeah. Yeah. You got Last of the Mohicans, Daniel Day-Lewis, who is just a piece of shit.
I've never seen Last.
He's not a piece of shit in that one.
Okay. You got My Left Foot, Daniel Day-Lewis.
What a piece of shit.
God damn. All right, then. All right, DDL. All right, so your Bond movie is directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, I'm hearing.
Hey,
There will be BL0070.
you could do worse than that. Actually,
Yeah,
great
that'd be
idea.
interesting. All right, no, who's next on your list?
I'm going to draft my Bond.
Ooh, the room perked up.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
this is the
like
shit.
everybody's holding off. I feel like everybody's got like a really good pick there, and I'm starting to get a little bit nervous, just a little nervous about it, because there are so many like names that have just been floated for it. But I'm gonna go with Daniel Kaluuya.
Wow.
Wow, dude.
Daniel Kaluuya is my pick for James Bond, and doing that almost exclusively based on his performance in Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yep.
Oh, man.
He's tough as nails, man.
Revolutionary.
Yeah.
The dude has got range, man.
He does.
And I think that he could step into that role in a way nobody would expect. So if we're talking black James Bonds, like I bet everybody's eyes are going to be on Idris,
Yeah.
but over here, here comes Daniel.
Here comes Daniel.
Sweeps right in, and everybody's like, "What, this guy?" And then it's like, it's because it's going to be like Daniel Craig again. Like, what are you talking about?
Yep.
And then he's going to show you.
I haven't really seen him get that smooth charm shit on yet, which kind of worries me.
I think he could pull it off just because of how calm his characters always are. Like even in Black Panther,
I'm thinking of like
he's just
even like Get Out.
Bitch
Like
ass
I mean,
cop.
like
I
he
was about to
is
go
he is extraordinarily
He's just
likable
so-
in Get Out.
right, and he's just so like you could throw everything at him and he'll just be like,
What's up?
all right, all right,
All right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, Daniel Kaluuya is James Bond. Right on, right on. Well, if we're taking off Bonds, I guess I'll go ahead and get my Bond. As much as I gave you crap about dipping too much into the Thrones universe, that is where my Bond comes from. My Bond is from the world of Game of Thrones, and
Jon Snow.
No, I bet I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Jon Snow, but you're close.
He was an alternate. It was an alternate for me, I think.
Yes, yeah, it is. It is Rob Stark, Richard Madden.
Richard Madden was my alternate.
Richard Madden would
Yep.
be a great Bond, dude.
He would be a really solid
Netflix,
one.
man. That show he had on Netflix really.
The Bodyguard?
Yeah, that
Yes.
did it for me.
I
was
still
like,
have not. My girlfriend loved that joint,
yeah,
and I still
I
have
saw
not watched
that.
it. Yeah.
And he could
Pretty
he could
good.
totally pull that off just based on his work off of that one film. Yeah,
I feel like The Bodyguard is his version of The Night Manager.
easily.
Yeah.
easily.
Okay, right on. Yeah, I mean, look, the dude's just a good looking dude. He started growing like a streak of silver right there in his
Right.
hair, so he's got a little bit of distinction. He's looking like a young Pete Lentz right now.
Yeah.
So I obviously
He's got part like Brian right now. Too.
Yeah.
he's got the Norman Osborn wave going on.
I wonder if he wears a silk wave cap at night. His hair down.
You get that Murray's hair cream out the bed. But yeah, look, chicks love him because he's a good looking dude, a solid actor.
Yeah.
I think he can pull that off well. So Richard Madden is my Bond, the exact same age as my upcoming Bond girl. So Pete, it is on you, sir. You
All right.
got your.
It's time to pick
got your
the villain.
henchman, your villain.
It's time to pick my villain. So, my overarching plot line story, like what's threatening the world, it kind of ties in with my exotic locale, which I'll pick in a little while. But it is going to be about some serious computer crimes, actually getting in and backdoors into software and shifting, upsetting economies and things like that. And they obviously need an MI6 agent to go and fucking shut that shit down. But who could be nerdy enough to pull off some computer shit and still possibly imposing enough to come off as evil.
So it's not the black dude from IT Crowd.
No, it is not.
Okay.
Jeff Goldblum.
That would be super funny.
Jeff Goldblum.
No, I'm gonna pick Daniel Radcliffe.
He was an alternate. He was an alternate Q for me.
Yeah. So Daniel Radcliffe is. I think he's going to. I'm kind of setting him up as a not really a computer nerd, but definitely like a very skilled black hat hacker who is. And again, when I give off the locale, we can talk more about what he's doing. But he's very much into adding software to a particular thing to bring down economies, siphon off wealth, build a and then I haven't quite gotten his ultimate motivation because the computer stuff is just a means. There has to be a something else, which that's still in a writer's room.
So
So Daniel Radcliffe is going to be my nerdy / hard ass villain.
Editor's note breaking it in here. I've been keeping my usual running comments, running thread on the draft. Manny Manfredonia, Mr. Stargate himself, said after Haley Atwell was drafted as Moneypenny, found which draft ballot has my vote. Gonna have to be some heavy hitters on another ballot to go otherwise.
I think there are. I frankly, I think there are.
Okay.
Because just people on these other draft lists that I didn't even think about. Everybody's doing.
The Dan Levy as Moneypenny has a like. Pete Dinklage as M has a like. Emilia Clarke as Bond or as a Bond girl has a like. So all right, there's some
rookie magic flowing right now.
I better get that Stargate vote this time though, because I fucking drafted Stargate on a list just to get his fucking vote, and it didn't work.
The exotic locale is the
Stargate.
Okay, Mr. Russell Waltz, it is 2 for you. You have your henchman and your car and your exotic locale.
So you went Bond, so I want to play off of what you just said. Okay. And I think, we already talked about the fact that Idris Elba was on the list, and for good reason. My emotional pick, since Idris is not the way to go, would be Michael Fassbender.
But German Bond.
But I am really thinking about who we're trying to sell to. And so
Harry Styles.
We're going to go with Theo James.
Why does that name sound familiar to me? Theo
The
James.
Divergent series.
Oh, that guy.
Okay.
The guy that plays 4?
Yeah, I guess the number is 4, yes.
Is that
the teacher who clearly loves the girl that he's trying to help out, but is not really helping the girl that he's trying to help out.
Is that the who it is? Mm-hmm. I can't remember.
It's not the guy that plays that we talked about that was in Terminator already, because they were both in that movie. But no, Theo James.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. That's the character that plays that guy that plays 4.
He's the main person from.
So
he's like a British version of what?
He's the helping her.
Harry Osborn.
He's the British James Franco.
Yeah, British James Franco. Look at this guy. Tell me, if this were across the room, you'd think that was James Franco.
I'm gonna have to go with yes.
So I'm hoping that some of these guys that are in your that listen to this thing all the time like Divergent for whatever reason, and so Theo James is kind of like
for whatever reason. I would say for whatever reason.
They're on a lot, Howard. But if they read the books or whatever,
we do
Theo
have some
James
Poprikans who have read the books.
Yeah,
I mean,
Divergent
doesn't really come up on Poprika all that often.
Well, it was a terrible movie chain, but Theo is a good-looking fellow, and I think that he can pull off that gravitas that you need to be a James Bond. I think he'll work really, really well with Emilia Clarke. I think him playing off of Dan Levy is also a great look. I think that's my move for Bond. And then I'm going to go with one of the other picks that I have left, which is Henchman. So I wanted Theo James to play off of someone. If I was going story, I would go like Pete, and this would be this thing where the henchman that he plays off is the wannabe Bond, but he's not really good enough. So I'm thinking Scott Eastwood.
Oh, wow.
You mean the wannabe actor, but he's not?
I thought you were going with a different Scott.
Is he going to be mute?
But then I thought about it and I'm like, all right, no, I really want somebody that doesn't. It's not that whole Iron Man thing where we just put another person in the same role to do the same thing over and over again.
Right.
So I decided to go. Well, maybe I go big as hell, and who's big as fuck? It's fucking Hoffler Julius Bornson. The Mountain.
The Mountain?
Yeah.
But don't write it down because that's not where I went.
Jesus Christ.
He's over here making lists within lists.
That's right. That's and there's a
Making lists.
there's a thought process to that too. I'm hoping that if I throw enough names out there, one of you guys will pick up one of them and it'll just take some of your thunder when you announce it. But
I mean, it worked for me and Hugh Grant. I mean,
but so my thug, because he's just a thug, right? That's what a henchman is.
Pretty much.
Conor McGregor.
ooh,
Oh, just
We don't need him to talk that much. We just need him to, just while out and throw kicks.
I
and-
suddenly no longer want to see your movie.
throw kicks. Wow, out and throw kicks. He just comes in legs flying to every scene.
you got to at least put that in parentheses on the draft list when people are voting. While out and throw kicks, just
Here, hang on. I'm going to need you to do that dance again, and then I want you to add it to the.
Not gonna happen.
I want you to add it to the video, please.
All right, then. Interesting choice. All right. Interesting
Because
choice.
the thug role is the role where the henchman role is, if you are a wannabe actor and you're trying to get into the movies, 9 times out of 10, and you have a physical body,
You're Dave Bautista.
yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, Conor McGregor's pretty unlikable, so I mean that's
Right on. Very all right, Conor McGregor. All right, get a little bit of Irish up in all your British. Okay, all right. Pete, you got your henchman, man.
I do
Is that
have
what
my
you're gonna-
henchman.
is that what
That's
you're
where
gonna
I'm
say?
going. That's where we're going. So Daniel Radcliffe as my villain needs.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, he's going to play his own henchman.
Yeah. Daniel Radcliffe and Daniel Radcliffe.
Neville will be your henchman.
Hey, that guy got big.
Well, we need a. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
He's a stud. Actually, change my Bond vote. Neville Longbottom. Just put that. Don't even put the actor's name. I don't even care.
All right, so but he needs a henchman around. He's going to be spending some time on a computer. He needs a guy to muscle and maybe a little private army dude, right? So in this one, my henchman, he's not just a henchman. He actually is in charge of the private army that Daniel Radcliffe has commissioned to protect him while he's doing his shit.
Okay.
Now, he's going to be able to take care of himself, but he's going to be sitting on a computer for a while. He's got some shit to do. So he hires a private army. The head of the PMC is Anthony Starr from Homelander from The Boys.
Homelander, yeah.
Because Homelander's a fucking piece of shit.
He is.
And everyone who's watched The Boys knows that Homelander is a piece of shit. You see his fucking face, you want to punch
on
it.
that. You're leaning on that franchise.
Because you want to punch it. You want to fucking punch him in the mouth. So I'm going to make him the bad guy who's going to get punched in the mouth. And it's going to be like gratifying and cool to see. It's going to be satisfying. Because fuck Anthony Starr. Actually, I love him.
He's
but,
a great guy.
But fuck him. You know what I'm saying? So,
But I feel like if he's going to be your general, though, he has to wear like the Homelander uniform because he's not exactly that built in real life, right? Like, I mean,
we got time. We got time.
look, just
We'll
like
get there.
everybody else. I mean, we had to get Michael B. Jordan ready for Creed, right? We had to
He
make
goes
that
on that
happen.
all chicken diet for like 3 weeks and just works out and eats a chicken every hour.
Chicken and celery, motherfucker's gonna look like goddamn Chris Hemsworth. You know what I'm saying?
Is that
if
all it
Bob
takes?
Odenkirk can get ripped for his latest movie,
for
there's
nobody.
I think that probably put him in the hospital.
That's right. That's exactly what I was thinking
mean-
when I saw that.
Yeah. There's all the chicken.
And he was great in Banshee.
take all
What?
He was amazing in Banshee.
People fucking love
Star.
that show.
Star?
man.
Banshee was like
I have not
amazing.
seen that.
Listen, if you do nothing else with your life, first you go watch Ted Lasso.
Yes, sir.
Then you go watch Banshee.
Banshee.
I mean,
Banshee was filmed.
what is that on?
5 minutes up from where my parents live at, which is about 20 minutes away from here.
Yeah.
What service is that on?
I don't think it's on
Cinemax.
Cinemax.
It was Cinemax.
I'm out.
And it's a
Pete's Cinemax days are long behind.
Oh yeah.
that was a fuzzy TV days.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I didn't have it back then either.
Right,
Those were
right.
simpler
I'll
times.
give you a thumb drive, Pete. I got a little seasons on my heart.
My man.
You got
All right.
a thumb drive full of like that scrambled Cinemax. Like, I mean, that would really
It's
throw me back.
It's nostalgia.
How did you get it all on a thumb drive? How big is the drive?
That's what she said.
Higher than average is how big that drive is. Okay, it is over to me now. I'll get my Bond girl before we get into all our technical nonsenses. I want to get a Bond woman of color because we haven't had too many of those. We got Grace Jones. All right, then.
Silent pause.
And that's about it when it comes to
But was she even
darker-skinned women.
Was she even a Bond girl?
I did. She flips at the end. So,
she did.
I mean,
She
hey,
did.
Bond
I'll
sleeps
give
with
you
her.
that. She did.
He sleeps with her. Yeah.
Facts.
Jamila Jamil
Oh,
will be my Bond girl.
oh, you just melted
that's
me
good.
in this chair.
That's good.
Ugh.
Unfortunately, now my girlfriend knows exactly which one mine is. So she will not be voting for me.
That one.
Yeah, listen, she's funny. If you follow her on Twitter, you know she fucking brings the thunder as well. She is just all parts gorgeous, and she's about it. She's the one of the few interviews on Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend where Conan completely fell apart because of his love of Jamila Jamil, and it is always wonderful to see her on screen.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
It's a real good one.
yeah,
She's gonna light the screen up, dude. That's at least, yeah.
yeah. Let's hope so.
I want to see your movie now.
She lights his vote. Oh, thank you, Pete. Brian, you have your hints for me before we get into our technicals, unless you want to get a car or an exotic locale.
So I've said that I had multiple backup picks in all of these categories. Henchman is the one category where there was only one choice for me. And it's because it's like I need somebody who is just capable of intense action, going with a martial artist. And I'm going with Iko Uwais of the Raid films.
Yep, the Raid. You can't.
Oh,
and G.I. Joe, and Snake Eyes.
Oh, yeah. So he played Rama in the Raid movies. But I mean, the Raid is like the benchmark for like modern action for me,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
And
Yes,
so
it
I
is.
was like,
Yeah,
all right,
it
so
is.
who am I getting? So the
That
two
and
things.
Ong Bak.
Ong Bak the Thai
Ong
warrior.
Bak.
Man, I just feel like everybody on Ong Bak was just hired. Like it was like one of those Craigslist ads just come out to a quarry, and like they didn't know they were about to get kicked in the fucking face. Tony Jaa just kicked everybody and then vanished into the woods. Man, yeah, but Tony Jaa was somebody I thought about, but that was a little while ago. But yeah, I just I wanted to go, a little more multinational with this, and I just love the dude. Like, and he also played the hero in those movies, and I thought it would be kind of a nice change of pace to.
that is a straight up like Jet Li in Lethal Weapon 4 pick.
That's it. That's
Like
it.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, and that's why Lethal Weapon 4 was anywhere near successful, is because Jet Li was in it.
Hell yeah.
Yep, because it's not for those
Nobody
two
cared about
clowns.
anybody else in that movie. Chris Rock, maybe.
No, because everybody
Joe
got their ass
Pesci.
kicked.
All right, Brian, are you going to the car or are you going with your exotic locale?
Oh, I'm going with car. All right. I wanted to get something really like super modern. And again, I feel like my whole agenda with this movie is that it's a turning point for the Bond franchise. Like this is where like Bond is taking a turn here. And it's like Daniel Day-Lewis is this well-known, well-respected actor, like the best of all thespians, right? Playing the villain that this new Black Bond is going to come in and defeat. And so I wanted a car that spoke to a younger audience, but still had style and still had a lot of power under the hood. And I'm going
Impala.
I'm going with I'm going with the 2022 BMW i4 M50, which is the sports model that they're releasing next year.
I was really
536 max horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds, fully electric.
Yeah.
So that's where I get that in there too. It's a fully electric car, and I think that would be a first for the Bond films.
That definitely would be a first for the Bond films. Are Pete, Razul, are either of you car guys? Do you follow the car life all the time?
I mean, I live with the manager of a car dealership, so I mean, kinda, but like, I mean, I really try to tune her out when she starts talking about that shit.
I will make sure I tag her in
Yeah,
this podcast.
No, she knows better. No, I've been following. I've been following some cars. I get updates on what the new stuff coming out.
Pete's been following some cars. It's just like in his car. Like actually following. Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
See if I can pull up close enough to read the model.
No way, man. Like I get updates at like new styles of Jeeps coming out. What kind of the Scat Pack and all that, the SRT packs that are coming out with the Chargers and the Challengers, and the new fucking Dodge Challenger is the sexiest fucking machine I've ever seen. God damn it. But like,
Good-looking
but yeah, it's like obviously my wife works at a Dodge
Really the
dealership.
Haley
So.
Atwell of cars. Maybe my money penny could transform into that new Challenger, like Turbo
man.
Teen.
Did you just invoke the Transformers? Now I've got to see them.
I was thinking Turbo
Turbo
Teen.
Teen.
Turbo
Yeah.
Teen's what I'm
Turbo
thinking.
Teen.
Like Haley Atwell's mouth gets all big and turns into the grill.
Fucking hands turned into the
And I'm
tires.
like, yes.
Her knuckles are going to be really ashy as car tires.
So you're also picking Haley Atwell for your car then.
All right, then, right on.
You could do worse, gentlemen.
You could do worse. All right, it's over,
Q's new experiment, Money Penny.
it's over to me to get my car, I guess, because I feel like we probably all have different exotic locales. It's not James Bond to me if you ain't got the Aston, man.
Agreed.
And for me, it's going to be the Aston Martin DB10, man. I do believe Spectre gave us the DB9.
Yep.
This is the next generation on that. So nothing super fancy. No curveballs for me. It's just the next Aston. I'm pretty sure Phoebe Waller-Bridge will give it all of the usuals, the machine gun headlights and the oil slicks, and I'm pretty sure there'll be a passenger ejector seat. She's never joking about her work.
Probably going to be a pair of panties in the back seat.
It'll probably be Phoebe Waller-Bridge's, actually.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Be a couple of sides to the camera, explaining the snog.
Actually, she's gonna like take the covering off the car, and it'll be revealed, and you hear that boom, boom, and then she's gonna look right at the camera and be like, "This is what the Aston Martin DB10 does. These specifications." Okay, thanks, Fleabag. But yeah, Aston Martin DB10. Pete.
I'm gonna go ahead and pick my car because I would say with 98% certainty you guys are my locale's safe.
You gotta feel like if we all end up with the same locale, it's like this is the
all
last
the
draft,
Chili's in
the final draft.
the Chili's in Columbia, Ohio.
Same one Shaq just came out of when he was on the TikTok with the old lady.
Okay, so my car now we've talked about, obviously Bond is the Aston Martin, but Bond hasn't always driven Aston Martins. One of my particular favorite cars ever, like not even Bond cars, but just cars of all time.
James Bond isn't driving a Ford F-150, Pete.
Come on. I said, I don't know, man. Come on, man.
He might drive the new electric one.
Oh, that's a good point.
I drove the wheels off a
Mercury.
Ford Crown Vic, and I decided I would never own another Ford. All right. So, but no, one of my favorite cars of all time is the Lotus Esprit. If you guys remember, and
Roger Moore.
Yes.
The Spy Who
Yes,
Loved Me,
it was- yeah.
we had a Lotus Esprit that turned into a submarine.
Yep.
That is true.
So this is going to tie into my exotic locale. My car is the 2022 Lotus Esprit,
Nice.
and it is going to change into a submarine.
God damn it.
It is going to be. That's going to be part of its kitsch, and it's going to be an Easter egg for those that are paying attention. But it's also a fucking hot ass looking car. So,
That is a sexy car. It's a sexy vehicle.
So
Nice car.
and Lotus, British company. That we're keeping it in the family. All right. So there we go. My car is the Lotus Esprit, and make sure you note that it turns into a submarine. That's fucking
Asterisk
important.
turns into sub.
I didn't know.
It is important that be a thing.
Can
It
you
has
just
to
put
turn into a
mine
sub.
does not turn into a submarine? Specifically,
All right.
we go.
Rasul.
mine turns into a submarine, but better than his.
Mine are just doing aircraft carriers. So I don't know what you guys got going on.
So for cars, and I am not a gearhead, but I am a car guy. I do like certain cars, and it's because of Bond that I do like cars. So in my Bond movie, his main car will be an Aston Martin. Your Aston Martin, but don't write it down, because in Bond movies, you can get multiple cars depending on where you're at. Yeah. So the one that we want to go with the pick is going to be the Renault Alpine A110.
Okay.
So when you see this car, and you got to go with it's the racing one too, because there's a specific model. So when you see this car and it's the racing one, the Renault Alpine A110, while it won't be a submarine, and when I get to the
that's your loss, man.
This is a very Bond-looking car.
This
is a very classic Bond-looking car. I dig it.
And it will have those typical kind of Q tricks. So this bad boy will fly. It's going to turn into a goddamn hovercraft.
Is it this guy?
It's it's the newer version. Like I said, the racing version.
Okay.
The body of that one is
That
much
one.
Like this guy.
No.
Yeah, actually,
Yep.
yeah, same one.
That's the one I'm looking at right now.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's
that's a nice color blue too.
That is
So,
sexy.
but I want it in gray, so that way it harkens back to the
looks like the
and
gunmetal
it's
gray kind
and
of.
it's
Yeah.
and it's gonna fly. It's gonna be a hovercraft. It's gonna go vertical.
Oh,
like straight up
it goes
vertical.
VTOL.
Okay. All right.
So
Can it just go straight up?
It's
And
gonna go
that's
straight
it?
up. And
It
that's
just
it.
goes
It's gonna
straight up.
hover.
It can't go forward. Can't go backward. Just goes.
It's an elevator. It's an elevator.
Some Wonka
Very
shit.
pretty. It's a Wonka shit.
All right. Right on, Russell. I
So
like it.
yeah, and so from my crazy ass locale, my exotic locale, I think I'm gonna go with the A Petri, and you have to spell it out. AI-Petri Mountain Falls in the Yalta region of Crimea. Crimea. And so
Rand McNally over there and shit.
and essentially what
Nice
it is,
CPS joke there.
essentially what it is they're rope bridges in the sky. So they basically look like you got all these rope bridges that connect to another bridge, but it's in the clouds. So like it's just you walk out of a cloud, you go to the bridge, and it's to another cloud.
Yeah.
So you need a vertical machine that's going to get you up there and be able to save the day when Conor McGregor is kicking my Bond's ass.
That's some Mario World 5 shit right there.
Right. So
I fucking hate World 5.
Conor McGregor's kicking my Bond's ass. He's hanging on to the rope for his dear life. And guess what? Amelia Clark comes in with the goddamn Renault Alpine A110.
That's a VTOL. Okay, I get it.
Told you VTOL, man. Yeah.
Is that the first time you're going to see the car fly in the movie?
Oh, that's a good call.
The reveal has to be the save.
They got to mention it beforehand to plant it.
Right.
And then the rest of the movie pays off so they forget about it.
It's going to be one of those.
Like your Bond can be like, whatever, does it fly?
Does it fly?
But you can go.
I'm thinking it'll be Bond, don't push this button until you absolutely need it type of deal. Right?
And why is that? You'll know when.
You'll know when.
All right.
Trust your heart.
Listen to your heart.
You got the touch.
That's my jam.
Lance Peets.
Amen.
You have your exotic locale, sir.
Okay. My exotic locale does kind of tie into my plot. Remember I said that Daniel Radcliffe is black hat hackery guy and he's building
Hogwarts. It's fucking Hogwarts.
Is your exotic locale just the Department of Defense?
No. My exotic locale is a British Commonwealth sovereign nation called Tuvalu. Tuvalu is where it is a chain of 9 islands.
Spell that.
Tuvalu. It is a chain of 9 islands that the British Commonwealth owns. So we're going to have that tie. So there's not going to be any foreign soil crap with him operating, right? It's all going to be good. It's all going to be sanctioned. No issues. So, but the reason Tuvalu is important is because the computer domain .tv is housed in Tuvalu. That is one of the up and coming domains that people can buy because all the .coms are all bought up. So now you can get .tv. Daniel Radcliffe's whole thing is that he's one of the guys that got on the ground floor of .tv, and he's built architecture into that domain that he can go in and out of anybody who uses that domain. And we can say, oh, well, some of these really, these important places that have lots of money and lots of connections. Oh, they all use this domain name. He can go in and hack all their systems. Nobody'd even know he was there because they didn't know he had this back door built in. So he spends a lot of the movie like trying to do that shit and is amassing amassing wealth and resources to do something I haven't decided yet, but he's amassing all of this shit and he's doing it out of Tuvalu because that's where this domain name comes from.
So I got to say, I've been to Tuvalu.
Yeah?
It's not great. That's not exotic.
We can make it look that way.
It's very exotic. No, it's kind of in the, it's like in that not Maui.
That's crazy. You've really fucking been to this place. Wow, right on.
There's an island in Tuvalu called Tonga. And I'm in sales. I've been in sales for a while. I won this crazy ass trip on a yacht, and they took all of us out, and we went from Australia to Japan. And one of the stops was those islands. And I got to tell you, it's a great locale. Like the water there is crazy.
Super blue is what it looks like.
The water is insane. The people there, so it'll fit really well into your movie.
This is why my Lotus turns into a sub.
Okay. All right.
Because he's just gonna, Florence Pugh. I'm so used to saying he.
Yeah.
Pugh and Hemsworth, because they're gonna at some point they're gonna work together. Just gonna ride up onto the land with that fucking car and,
then
drive away.
And they're in.
Now, will the engine shut off on them in the middle of the ocean and Namor has to come out of the ocean and save their asses?
Namor's not in the movies yet, man. Come on.
Not yet. Shout out to Daniel Day Kim. He better be my Namor. All right, it's over to me. I have no weird backstories or anything. Dubrovnik, Croatia.
I cannot fucking believe it. Look, I'm just to prove it. Dubrovnik, Croatia. Motherfucker.
Did he really just pick your pocket?
I am not kidding. That's amazing.
No way.
Fuck, I guess I'm back to the Applebee's.
So the brother picked Dubrovnik, Croatia right from your pocket.
Wow.
Right from the pocket.
That's insane. Of all the places on the planet.
I got another one. Don't worry. I'll think of something.
Yeah, it is a place that I've wanted to visit for quite some time. And it's just, again, it's another one of those, like, just a nice combination of green and blue ass water, green ass foliage all over the place. And it just looks like a dope city, B, a place that I would like people who watch the Bond movie to be like, oh, what's that? Let's look about it. Oh, well, let's go visit out there. And see, it's got enough terrain out there that you can get your third act action scene on. And it's just gonna look nice with you take that blue and that green, you mix in the orange of explosions and all that kind of good stuff. Dubrovnik, Croatia. You looking it up right now?
Yeah, no, I gotta back up. What the fuck?
No, I'm checking on something else.
All right, Brian. Get your exotic locale, get your artist.
Well, see, I'm just like thinking now. I'm just like, okay, what's another one I've been to? I'm just tapping into like places I've been and like, okay, well, what's like exotic? Looks like it would be suitable for foot chases. So the lovely thing about Dubrovnik is the city's walled in, so it's kind of got that Mission Impossible Vatican kind of bit from Mission Impossible 3. Yeah. It's on the Adriatic Sea. It's beautiful. You could see the people coming out of the water. Looks beautiful. Dubrovnik.
You're going to see Jamila Jamil come out of that water.
Yeah, no, I guess so. Could have been Gal Gadot.
But we're good with Jamila.
Anyway, I am going to change gears there and go with Florence, Italy.
Florence.
Which is also a great city for foot chase. And there's a couple of rivers that run through it, making it good for,
a river runs through it.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Are we gonna get a what are those called?
Gondolas. No, they don't
gondola
have
chasing.
They don't have gondolas in Florence. They don't have the gondolas in Florence. But Florence is a beautiful city for foot chases, for car chases, all of that jazz.
Especially the car that you picked. I mean, that's going to be amazing on those streets.
Yeah.
It'll
look like a less like dirty, beat up Bourne movie. Like it's going to look like Bourne with the
polish.
with the polish of a Bond movie on those streets. So yeah.
So Iron Man 2.
That's Montenegro, sir.
So Florence, Italy, and I'm not disappointed about that.
Right on. And it is on you, sir. We've got your Bond is Daniel Kaluuya. Your M is Hugh Grant. Your Q is Tom Hiddleston. Your Moneypenny is Haley Atwell. Your Bond girl is Gal Gadot. Your henchman is Iko Uwais. Your villain is Daniel Day-Lewis. Your car is the 2022 BMW i450 in Florence, Italy. And what artist is singing the title to your Bond joint?
So like I said, this is going to be a hard turn for the Bond series. And there's I think about like who would be good to put on a Bond theme all the time. That's like when the new Bond movie gets announced, I'm just thinking like, okay, where are they going to go with the theme, right?
Anywhere but Billie Eilish.
Fucking whatever. You know, I just feel like there have been more hits than misses with Bond themes over the years.
Yes.
Like there are a few that are just really, really memorable. There are a few that are like low key dark horse favorites that like I might like, but nobody else does. Yeah. And then they're the ones that we can all agree are pretty shitty, right?
Billie Eilish.
Yeah. But I was thinking like, so I think about like Muse all the time. I really want to hear Muse do a Bond theme eventually. Harry Styles. I actually think Harry Styles could deliver on a Bond theme, but I'm going to go with Kendrick Lamar.
Wow. I like it.
This is going to signal a significant turn for these Bond films. Bring it in with a little bit of sampling of like, you know, some John Barry music and just let him do his thing.
Daniel Kaluuya is your Bond. Kendrick Lamar is doing your thing. You've lost all white tickets.
It's like the Black Panther Part 3 over here.
the Southeast will not be buying tickets.
Yeah, look on the bright side.
Watching this.
Damon Hurd might vote for your team.
He might. Very well might. Nice. All right, very well. And Kendrick Lamar is doing a theme for your joint. For me, my Bond is Richard Madden. My M is Idris Elba. My Q is Phoebe Waller-Bridge. My Moneypenny is Samara Weaving. Bond girl is Jamila Jamil. My henchman is Michael B. Jordan. My villain is Elizabeth Debicki, old tall neck. My car is a 2022 Aston Martin DB10 and will be riding throughout the streets of Dubrovnik, Croatia.
I still can't believe you got.
I cannot fucking believe you sniped my goddamn location. That's what I can't.
That's crazy. That's the only time.
The only snipe of
the draft.
It had to
and that usually happens all the time. Like the last draft we did, like we all took turns going, "Fuck!"
And how did you lose though? I mean, you still lost that one, right? Like,
I mean, he's the one saying it all the time.
Get
out! My artist, man. I'm the exact opposite of Brian. I have no idea. I had nothing for this. So I just look at what's popular in the streets these days. God, baby. Who took that motherfucking busted ass goddamn Adidas? That idiot. I'm 7. I'm gonna go with SZA. Is my artist.
I like that one.
Wow.
I like that one.
Yeah, I have no idea who she is. Don't know her music, but that's my pick. Yet again, showing the fact that I have no idea usually what's going on in these drafts. But
that is his play. Like, oh, this person's hot. I don't know what the fuck they are, but I'm gonna put it on the draft.
Yep.
So there is a common theme between the last two picks, though, and it is the Black Panther soundtrack.
That's true.
It says on the Black Panther.
Yeah. All the stars. She was the main singer on that one, and she was really good. And the way that her voice is so melodic, it is a good pick actually for that. So
I'll take it, sir. Thank you. Thank you
like
very
that
much.
one.
All right, then. Pete Wentz, the musician of the group. His Bond is Flo Pugh, the only one to flip the Bond. His M is Colin Firth. His Q is Tom Holland. Moneypenny is Juno Temple. His Bond guy is Chris Hemsworth. His henchman is Anthony Starr. His villain is Daniel Radcliffe. His car, a 2022 Lotus Esprit. It's a submarine, Pete. We know. In Tuvalu. And who opens your movie, sir?
The mighty duo of Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. I'm going with
Sonic.
Wow.
Dude, so I want.
Don't leave your submarine car door open.
Don't Don't leave that door open.
That would be exceptionally dangerous. No,
great.
but
That's good.
what I want for this theme, I want the throwback vibe, but I want it slick and sexy. Like,
So it's
you
gonna be
know-
like the silhouettes of the naked girls and the
Oh, yeah.
smoothness of the silk.
Oh
sonic.
yeah, man. When I was
It
thinking
should
about
just be
it today,
silhouettes of Chris Hemsworth. What are we talking about?
yeah, I'm thinking it might have to change a little bit.
Yeah.
Put some dudes up doing this in the back. You know what I'm saying?
Get some Atlas in there.
Right. So
Silk
yeah,
Sonic,
Silk Sonic's doing the theme to this, and oh damn it! I wish I had a hot like cool theme like the or name of the film.
I had a name in the film for mine, and then I got drunk and forgot it that night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I should have, but I don't. Damn it!
Well, you
No
win
come
those,
at me,
so-
bros, over there.
Come at me.
All right, Rasul with the final pick of the night. You have Theo James as your James Bond. You have Peter Dinklage as your M, Emma Watson as your Q, Dan Levy is your Moneypenny, Emilia Clarke as your Bond girl, Conor McGregor as your henchman, Dev Patel as your villain.
Shout out to the Green Knight.
Shout out to the Green Knight. Thank you very much. The Renault Alpine A110, and it flies as your car.
Hovers.
Hovers. I'm sorry. Let me hovers. And
Can you just put down that mine has like an auxiliary like USB port?
in Brian's car, the navigator does get to pick the music. That's the. And then you have your
The navigation
IP
system talks
tree.
like Cookie Monster.
Your IP tree, which that's a hell of an exotic place there, man.
Yeah, man. Just the rope bridges in the
The
sky.
rovers. That's man. I looked up a picture of that. That's nice. Who opens your joint, man?
Billie Eilish.
Yeah, are you serious?
She is number one on my list. However, for the youngins in the Poprika
Ugh.
kingdom, I'm going Dua Lipa.
Oh, good call.
That was my number 2.
Good
It's Dua Lipa.
call. Good call.
That's not bad at all, sir. Whew, well, man, that is it, and we are right at our time, man. I didn't think we'd fill out a full 2 hours on this, but we did. That's it for the James Bond.
Spent a
draft.
lot of time talking about Ted Lasso. Like, take out the Ted Lasso stuff, and it's probably an hour.
Telling you, Juno Temple, man, she's gonna make that movie.
It's going to make the movie. All right, that is it for our James Bond draft. This will be, by the time you hear this, we will already have voted, so congratulations to whoever wins this.
Thank you.
Whoever wins this secures a spot at the Poprika Mania, man. And one last note for you. Whoever wins this draft, it's all well and fine. But there is a caveat to this particular draft. If one of our James Bonds gets casted as the future James Bond, they will retroactively win this draft. Which I told you that, and you still went with Florence Pugh. but the odds are low. But yeah, we will.
Can we take just a quick minute to acknowledge this man's T-shirt?
We need to acknowledge Brian Martin's T-shirt, the Duck Hunt duck in the crosshairs of the James Bond gun barrel.
Oh yeah, you gotta get that. You gotta get that picture and add it to the add it to the video.
And it's pixelated, right? So.
Yeah. Oh, he's got you over that.
No beer in the picture.
No, that's not. I was trying to move the cable, but that was counterproductive.
Right on. Send that to me if you can. Yeah. All right, and that is it for the James Bond draft. Hopefully, you all enjoyed this as much as we enjoyed doing it. We'll be back with our final draft of the year, the MCU Avengers draft, coming up soon right here on Poprika. Until then, you all take it easy, and we will see you later on.